Hello, everyone. My name is Katie of the Greenland Quilter, and I have Nikolai here tonight. We might have a guest later. I'm not sure when. It's if Myra might be joining us when she gets back from whatever it is she's doing, if she has the time. If not, it'll be mostly me and Nikolai tonight. I have invited a couple people. We'll see if they come or not. Okay. So first off, um, I have made a poll in the chat because my box from Sherry came today, and I am super stoked about that. Um, and in that box was a new camera apparatus so that I could hopefully, I'm hoping that this new angle with the camera is going to help y'all see. Now, I don't have the ability to zoom in and out with it yet. That will come later, maybe. But for right now, it looks like you're getting this whole area now that you weren't getting before. So let me know what you think. Do you think it's better or do you hate it? I mean, whatever. So anyway, there's that. And honey, what are you planning to work on tonight?
I'm still working on that the assembly skirt that I've been
Do you want
running since this.
Yeah, so this is what third live you've been working on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, since the
Or
since,
second.
oh since we start having lives together. I mean,
Oh, it was never put together?
no, it's never. It's like a long process.
Oh, because we keep doing other things.
Yeah, well, if you just dismantle it, and it's like can't remember how many pieces there. I think it was like 2,000 pieces. Like, you have to when you're clumped together like the way it is, you have to find pieces here and there, and it takes time.
Yep.
If they came in bags, I could have already done that within.
Yeah, because it was in bags, you had already had it built. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to work on tonight is I'm going to machine quilt. I've got my walking foot on my machine for a change, and yeah, I should learn to use this more often because it would probably make life easier when I have bulky seams or whatever. It just is I find it a little bit of a struggle trying to get the walking foot on. And the other thing is I need to really start thinking about trying to learn the HP side of this machine, and I just haven't done it. And it probably would be a good idea because the quilting will be much, or the sewing will be much nicer if I did that. So hello, Robin, and hey, Judy, welcome, welcome. So that's what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to quilt tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up tomorrow. Um, yeah, because today's the 23rd. Yeah. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to work on the tulip quilt that you've been seeing me work on, the dragon fruit. I have an interesting week next week. I have another podcast pre-record interview scheduled for Monday for Blessed to Crochet. And then on the 27th, we will be having a live with Shonda, Andy, and Amanda, who are crocheters as well. And we're going to crochet on a live together. And on Wednesday, the 28th, the premiere with Tasha of Tasha Quilts will be going up so everybody can come sit in the premiere with us. And then on Friday, we're going to have our normal live on Thursday, and I'm going to probably work on a UFO. On Friday, we're going to go ahead and do block number 9 star checks, and I'll start reminding y'all about that in the next couple of days. And then Saturday, May 31st, I'm also going to work on a UFO. Which UFOs, I don't know yet, but that's where we're going to go with that. So, and I'll repeat this again about midways of the live for those who are coming later. Okay, hey Pat, welcome, welcome. She says, good afternoon. I'll be watching on my TV, not my iPad, sorry. So no chatting. If I need to say something, I'll come on. Not sewing tonight. Back is bothering me too much. I hope your back gets to feel better. Okay, so don't forget to do the poll, Pat, before you jet on out. And yeah. All right. So here, to refresh your memory of what the Raspberry Kisses was, it was those little tiny X's. Remember this? So this is what I'm going to quilt tonight. And this is the backing I chose. I don't know if you can see it, but let me put it up underneath the other camera too, so you can see the print. So that's the backing. And I'm going to just do vertical and horizontal straight stitching because no, I like doing the diagonal, but we have lots of diagonal going on. And the other thing I was thinking about doing is after, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to straight stitch on each side of these seams right here that go between these X's in both directions. There'll be a seam on, or there'll be quilting on both sides of that center seam. And I was thinking after I got done with that, then I could take the walking foot off. Well, I don't know, I might not take the walking foot off. And I thought about sewing right around the edges of each X and see if we couldn't put a little dimension in it. So that's what I'm going to quilt again. And one more time, I'll show you the back. And then I'll keep doing that throughout the period. Okay. Lori Hogan says, hi, honey. Went to the doctor's and she wasn't there. Uh-oh, that can't be good. That has to be bloody irritating. Hey, Geraldine, welcome, welcome. Nico walked out of the room. He'll be back in a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm here.
They're all saying hi to you, honey.
Hi, everyone.
He's pulling Legos, I think. Uh-oh. Let me get that back in there right. Yeah, it's really colorful, isn't it? It's got flowers, and I'm not sure what these other little things are, but they're really cute. Okay, so let's, and I think the reason I chose this one, this probably came in a So Yeah bundle, probably. But because the front of the quilt is colorful, why not put something just as colorful on the back? Hey, Joyce, welcome, welcome. She says, I'm lurking now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start that first seam. And I have set my sewing machine stitch to a 3.5. And you're probably like, why? Because I kind of like that bigger stitch because it looks quilty to me. And I'm hoping that I can get this going through here without getting in a fight with it, because it's been a while since I've quilted a little bit bigger of a quilt. In the background over here, that gray quilt, it's ready for quilting too. I got the border put around it. I didn't know if anybody noticed, but I did get the border on it. Let me get everything out of the way here. I'm seeing if this is too wide of a seam. It might be too wide because I wanted to get it closer to the, yeah, well, no, let's leave it like this and I'll get y'all's opinion when I get this first line sewn. I'll show it to you and see, get your opinion. I'll see what you say about whether you think it's, because I'm trying to go along this seam line here. But I'm going to try not to tag any stitches. Is looking good. I need gloves. Okay, where did I see those gloves at? At least for one of my hands. All right. I forgot to put my gloves on, y'all. Sorry. It'll make traction better. So what is everybody, has everyone had a great week? I hope you have. We were supposed to work tomorrow, but the first tour guiding for the season got canceled because there's ice up, not in front of us, but like a couple hours away from us. But I guess the cruise ship had some concerns about that. Maybe they thought the ice would end up here. Um, the wind is blowing right now, so you never know. The wind might drive it this way too. Who knows? I'm not sure if we're working yet. Sunday we're supposed to, but we will see. I see why so many people use a walking foot on here because it does make it better. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any wrinkling going on. And I'm also going to have to change a bobbin soon because I'm probably going to be playing chicken bobbin here. Bobbin chicken, sorry. I think I said that backwards. Okay. Robin wants to know what you're working on, baby.
It's a simple skirt that I've been working a couple times now. Trying to save the one that I was building yesterday. There's a lot of pieces that I need to try to collect. Find them too. This is part of the fun.
This thing might be okay. It looks like it's, let me measure it. I think it's about a half an inch away from that seam. Let me check it with the ruler. Yeah, it's about a half an inch. Y'all think a half an inch away from that seam is good? It's been too cold in Michigan to get my vegetable garden started, waiting for it to warm up. Yeah, we're waiting on it to warm up here too. All right, I'm gonna start. So I hope this doesn't look weird the way I'm going to do it. All right, let me get my gloves back on. I'll show you the seam here in a couple minutes. So what are y'all's plans for the weekend? Anyone got anything special they're doing? Man, my finger's gonna have a hard time with this quilting because I kind of, yeah, it's a good distance, says Judy. Okay, great. Because I didn't want to sew in the ditch. I have never tried doing that, and because I have open seams, I'd rather not. I mean, as I press my seams open. Okay, now we want to put it over here like this. Kind of judge it a little bit. Date night tonight, party with friends, and lots of food this weekend. That sounds like fun, Judy. Hey, when I come back to the States and I'm in Georgia seeing Thomas, we should get together again.
Oh my grandfather.
You said you weren't going to go, remember? Unless things get better.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's remains to be seen. It may end up I don't even get to go to the United States. But I'm gonna be in trouble if I can't because I need to renew my driver's license and stuff. Hey Rita. Okay, we got that first seam done. I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me put it up here. Can you see it right here? So I'm going to do that on each of these seams where the rows came together. All right. Probably very unconventional doing it this way, but I think it'll have, once you see it overall, it'll look purpose. It'll look like it was done on purpose that way. Judy says it looks good. Yeah, we definitely need to plan it. When we got together, did we have Thomas and Blaze with me, or was it just me that got with you and your husband, Judy? I can't remember, because if Blaze and Tom came with me, for some reason I don't think they did. Nico, how many pieces is in that one? We got to remove a pin. It's in a bad spot. Okay. All right. I couldn't remember if it was just us or not. Maybe when we get together this next go around, you can meet both of them. They're doing so good. Especially Blaze. He's just thriving. Okay, we got another row on. Hey, Teresa Louise, I sent you an email. All right, let's go down the other side. Wow, that camera. So you like it? Okay, great. It does look much better, doesn't it? I'm so happy with it. Thank you for sending this to us. I really appreciate. Sherry sent me the apparatus, and Nikolai got it put on here. We had to do a little finessing to get it, where I could get it, the camera turned around the way you're seeing right here with where my hand is, in the right direction. So yeah, it makes a big difference. All right, come on. Now all I got to do is get one of those little things where you can tell it to zoom. I'll be on in a minute, says Teresa. Okay.
It's 4,002 pieces.
What? Really?
Yeah.
That was a big one then. Wow, that one probably is going to be taking over more than one live. I didn't realize it had that many pieces in it. Did you hear? I think it was Robin that asked.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, it was Lana that asked. And hi, Lana. I didn't even see her slip in. She wanted to know 4,000. How much?
4,002.
4,002 pieces, Lana. My this quilt is getting in a fight with my wool mat. Look, honey, it keeps catching the wool mat. I have a feeling when I take this seam out, we might have to take that mat off, babe.
All right.
I hope it doesn't cause vibration when I do that. But it's definitely catching it. I missed it. I'm so sorry. Are they all on the table? Lana wants to know.
Some, yeah, most of it is here, and I think there might be some parts that is not here, so I have to look into my stash.
You put that together one time before, right? Or you never have? Oh, that's that new design, right?
That was the alternative building.
Oh, yeah, he's doing what they call the alternative. This was designed by someone besides the original designer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes, Nikolai's you're on is it a Facebook group?
Yeah.
That you get this new design that you got the design from?
Yeah.
So he's on a Facebook group and there's designers on there too. And did you have to pay for the design?
Yeah.
So he bought the other design. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, now we got another row on here.
It give me details how to build it.
All right, come here, babe. All I want you to do is lift up the machine without knocking the thread off the machine. Here, lift this up and I'll move this.
Oh,
straight pin.
2.
Just leave them on the mat.
Now make the 3.
Right coming from over here. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I think you yanked it off from you.
No, it came from that other one.
Okay.
And the quilt top has caught it. And it's sticking to my gloves. You don't want to come off my fingers. Okay, I need to pick this up one more time and move it a little bit that way so this foot is sitting on the mat itself, on the cutting mat. A little more that way. No, this way.
Yep, you pointed that way first.
No, I pointed that way.
That way first.
No, I didn't. Okay, that's better. Thank you, babe. Okay, now we're cooking.
You're the one that disrupted my work this time.
Lana says, welcome home, Nico.
I've been home 3 weeks now, Lana. But thanks. It's the thought that counts, yes.
All right, now we got 2 rows. Hey, Teresa, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
So how's your day been?
Okay.
What you gonna do this weekend?
Same thing I do all the time.
Okay.
Which is pretty much nothing. It depends on if the sun comes out.
The sun is out here, but it's freaking windy.
Yeah. Windy, cold, rainy, all the things.
Yeah, you sound like us. Every time we get a little bit of sun, the sun it'll come out like in the early afternoon, and then about 3 or 4 hours later, it's freaking cloudy. Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you real quick. I know we do this every time we come. Tell everybody about your channel and tell us what you plan on working on. Yeah, there she is.
Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Louise. I quilt too. That's my channel. And yeah, I'm a quilter and crafter person. And I never know what to say. And let's see. I usually go live on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I come on here with Katie every now and then and hang out with her. Today, I'm just going to try and catch up on a few little projects. Number one, I'm in a block swap, and I think I have all the blocks done. Now I need to sign them. So I'm going to try and figure out how I want to sign them. Like, do I want to sign it right in the middle of the block, straight, you know, in the middle, or do I want to do it at an angle or down lower, you know? And I'm going to use, I don't know if you guys have these, but they're microline archive pens, so they are acid free. And this is
Yep.
what I use on, and they're permanent. So this is what I use on fabric, like, to make a label or to sign or what have you. I like this pack. It's a 16 pack, multiple colors. So, I have a lot of choices from 0.3 millimeter up to 0.5. So I think, that's handy. And I like a really fine tip when I'm going to sign something like this. The other thing I use these for is, let's say you have, you know, pieced your project, you've quilted your project, and then you notice that you have some thread in a spot that is really the thread, you can really see it, like maybe white thread on with black fabric. Well, with these, you can take the pen and mark out the thread, this one is black. Mark out the thread so you can't see that. I mean, if that kind of thing bothers you. So I use it for that too. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm going to work on today. When I get tired of doing that, then might go reorganize some of my stuff over by the horse collage. So that's pretty much it, Katie. Thank you.
Sounds like fun. And I caught part of my backing on the back. Oh my God. I can't believe I've done that. That's why. And I think it got caused because it was catching on that wool mat. Well, I'm glad you see. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for coming. Hey, Liz, welcome, welcome. Did anyone else slip in? I didn't see. Robin says it's 94 degrees Fahrenheit and 94 degrees and sunny in beautiful Florida. Can't believe it's already that hot. I guess summer's going to come rolling in and roaring in Florida. Does it get?
Well,
Go ahead.
it's like maybe 60 here today, maybe.
Mhm.
But by Sunday, it's supposed to be 80.
Oof. So
So
it's going to come get warm for you too then.
yeah, and hopefully the mushrooms start popping up.
You're going to be looking for morel mushrooms or is it something else?
Yeah, morels. Actually, so I don't know for sure if I'm going to come on Sunday or not. If Brandon's feeling good and I'm up to it too, I might try to talk him into going on a Sunday drive.
Oh, okay. That sounds like fun.
So I'm going to look and see who's all on tomorrow, and maybe I'll try to come live tomorrow for a little while.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
What does
See what
morel?
what time I can squeeze in.
Yeah, there's so many on Saturday, including
Oh,
me.
I know.
It's like, who do you choose?
Or maybe come on earlier on Sunday.
Yeah.
But uh Ian usually is on at 11 my time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I hate to walk over him. He's been on that time for so long.
Yep.
But there's always the replay. I have to remind myself of that.
Yep.
People can watch the replay. But that's not as much fun, I don't think, as being there at the live because people want to visit in the chat.
Yep.
So we'll see. It was 80 in Oklahoma yesterday.
That's a cool trend for them, isn't it?
Probably. I think Oklahoma's pretty warm. That's
Yeah, they
from
get yeah.
Lana. Boy,
When
they've been having some nasty weather in the southeast.
Yeah, all the tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Our planet's a bit angry right now.
Well, we had a really massive solar flare.
Yes, we did.
Um, yeah, I don't know if a lot of people realize that.
Did you see any
Well,
northern lights your ways, or was it cloudy like it was here?
it was cloudy here, so I didn't really see anything, but
Yeah, we couldn't see
that
nothing either.
that solar flare was pretty scary.
Yep.
And when that happens, a lot of changes happen on the planet.
Yep. I think it's
So,
hilarious. There's this channel. He's always posting videos and he's making it sound like some of the things that go on our planet are nefarious or aliens are in play. And I'm like, if you just watch what the sun is doing, hello.
yeah, I think if a lot more people watched what the sun was doing, they would
Yep.
realize how that affects everything weather-wise.
Yeah, because the sun's been really active for the last 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been it's had a couple really crazy solar flares that's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That
when we see northern lights down here in South Greenland, but they're stronger the further north you get. And when we start seeing them where they're strong here like they are up there, something's going on.
mm,
It's pretty interesting. So what happened was, I know everybody can see the new angle of my camera. So what happened? Let me show you what happened. This got folded on the back because it
oh
got caught.
no.
Yeah, so it got caught on the wool mat. And so I had four sections right here I had to rip out. But I only ripped out part of it. I'll just go back and um requilt that area. It was easy enough to get it out and I could fix it. But yeah, it got caught in the wool mat. So that's why we moved it. I was wondering what was going on. I thought something didn't feel right. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I started making a homemade basting spray.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like using 505 or, some sort of adhesive, but it's homemade and it doesn't do anything dramatic to my asthma or anything like that.
I was about to ask
And
if it's bad for lungs because anything aerosolized is bad.
yeah, but
What
this
what
works pretty good. It's just really just flour and water and rubbing alcohol,
Oh,
I
that's interesting.
think.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Oh yeah. And before I got my long arm, I used that method all the time because I used to do what you just did, the fabric would fold over and then I
Yep.
have a really bad mess. And I hate working with pins or needles, to
Yep.
baste your quilt down. That's kind of a pain. And so, yeah, I just would make this basting spray and then you spray it I sprayed it on the batting. And then
Mm-hmm.
I would put my backing down, iron that down, and then flip it over, spray the batting again on the front, and then put my front piece down and then press that and then let it sit. Now, I still, it works pretty good. It's probably not as good as 505, but you don't have all that nasty, chemical stuff.
Yeah.
And, and I would still kind of pin my corners or a little bit up in the top parts around the quilt
Mm-hmm.
just in case. But yeah, Katie, that worked really good. I'll see if I can find my recipe
Okay.
and give it to you because like I
Okay.
said, it's just like I think it's just flour, rubbing alcohol, water, and then some people add salt, but I'm like, what's the point in the salt? That don't make no sense. So I don't
The
add the
salt doesn't.
salt.
Yeah, the salt
That
don't
would
make.
just leave like crystallization, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Salt. Salt. Salt can probably damage fabric. I would think.
well, I can see where maybe they're using it as like a drying agent, possibly.
Oh, got ya.
But um The rubbing alcohol is going to do that. You know, the rubbing alcohol helps it dry quicker after you spray it out.
That that makes sense. Where are you giving?
Yeah, you could use Elmer's glue. I would, if I was going to use Elmer's glue, I would figure out the formula to have it Elmer's glue and water. So whatever that might be, like maybe a half a cup of Elmer's glue to I'd start out with 2 cups of water and see how that works. But I personally wouldn't just do like straight Elmer's glue. And
Yeah.
it's so much easier if you put it in a spray bottle, you know.
This is
And I know some people use glue to baste the binding on instead of clips or needles.
Yep.
I have never tried it, but I hear it works pretty good. I just kind of feel like, well, that's one more step that
you don't want to take.
I don't want to take. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. And I'm fixing to cut this excess off that I keep getting in a fight with.
All right. So what's your opinion, Katie? I'm going to sign this block. It's going to have my name and my city, state, and then I'm also going to put the year on it. But it's a friendship block. And I was going to put my name in here somewhere in the middle. So should I center it in the middle, or you think I should do it down below? Should I make it like a feature, or should I try to keep it small and hidden, or that's what
I think making it a feature and putting it where you can see it would be great.
Yeah.
Unless you're not wanting to fill that what do they call it, negative space?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering, is if I should take up the negative space or not.
Yeah, because you could get artistic while you're putting your info and stuff on it if you wanted to, since they're using a permanent pen anyway.
Yeah.
Little flowers or whatever to go around whatever you put on there. I think take up the negative space. Make it you.
Oh yeah, like I could draw a little flower on there.
Yeah. Sounds like be you, because you're pretty artistic.
Judy says she uses Elmer glue to put on the binding. It works great. Oh, awesome.
I'm going to have to change the bobbin. I knew that was going to happen because I was lazy and didn't go ahead and change it, because I've been trying to use all the, used up what's on the bobbin, because you end up with pieces of bobbin, you know what I mean? And then you get to play chicken bobbin multiple times because you did that. Angle it. Lana says angle it diagonally too.
Yeah, I thought about that also.
Liz says she's seen YouTubers use Elmer's glue to baste with too. Wow, that should be interesting. My friend Melanie sent Thomas. It came in a gallon. It's a gallon jug of Elmer's glue, and she sent him what you use for, like, when you paint walls, the pan and the roller. She sent him a mini roller because he didn't have any curtains for his apartment, and she told him to take and pour it in something and mix a certain amount of water in with the glue, and then paint the windows white with it. Then people can't see in the house until he can afford curtains, because he still doesn't have curtains. He still doesn't have a dining table either, y'all, or a wash machine. We haven't been able to swing any of that yet. When I went and priced a brand new washing machine, just a simple top loader, not the front loader, I'm like, it's as expensive, some of them, as a front loader is. And I just was looking at the simple ones. Can't believe washing machines are so dang expensive. Used to could buy a washing machine for $200, a brand new one. Not anymore. How many blocks did you have to make, Teresa?
21.
Wow, that's a lot. Once the friendship started, to take too long.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. But I made other blocks too. They weren't all the same. So I made some different than the friendship, and then I changed up the color because I don't know what other colors people are using. And so I figured the person that I'm sending this to, they could match it up with whatever, because they're gonna, you know, bring everybody's blocks in, and then everybody gets 21 back. And I thought it would just be nice to have options,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That's why I kind of changed it up.
All right. I'm gonna go back and pick up the quilting where I've just ripped up part of the quilting seam to undo what got caught, and I'll go back and finish that here directly. Reattach to that area I ripped apart. Right now I just want to get these solid lines done, and then I'll come back and fix that. And I really do think I definitely want to experiment and at least try quilting around one of these X's and see what it looks like, and see if it's worth taking the time to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by, I think 6 by 7. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 by 6. So that's 8 times 6 is 48. That's 48 of them I would be going around the outer edges of these X's, trying to make it look kind of fancy. Or if I just want to leave it like this. I thought if I put like a little border around each one of the X's, it would make it stand out a little more. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, I'll take a pretty flower on mine. That's what Sherry said. Okay. Let's turn this. No, we're not going to turn it around. We're going to start on this left side of this one.
Hello, Scraptastic Crocheter.
Hey, yep. Hey, Amanda, yeah, Amanda, that's her name. She's going to be on a live next week with me and Shonda and Andy from Crafty Witch.
Oh,
We're
nice.
going to be doing a crochet live.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I think I know what I'm going to work on. I definitely will do another unboxing, but I also think I'm going to I have the pattern printed out somewhere because I make pot holders, and I put cherries with leaves and stems on the front of it, and then I take on the back, I take cotton and cut a circle and then fold it down. So there's a seam around it where you hide in the raw edges, and then I sew it with the sewing machine onto the pot holder. But there's like Insulbright in between that cotton and the back of the crochet piece. So whenever if they do use it to pick up hot things, they can use that side of it, not the front side that has the cherries and stuff on it.
Nice.
But it's made from 100% cotton. Worsted yarn is really nice. I like making, I think it's by Lily. I think I have to go look. if that's, I think it's Lily who makes that cotton that I like to buy every time I go to the United States, because I have like 2 or 3 different colorways that are on big, huge cones because I wanted to use it multiple times to make pot holders with. Because you can make a lot of pot holders on a cone. I want to figure out a pattern to do a ulu where I can crochet the ulu and then like sew it on. Yes, we are going to have some fun, Amanda. It'll be lots of fun. Do you know what you plan on working on yet? I have lots of loose threads sticking out that I need to pull out of this. I forgot to clean this quilt up. Get all the loose threads out. I posted a short the other day, crocheting at the dentist from the dentist's point of view. That's funny. I used to take crochet with me in the doctor's office when I would have to wait for an excessive amount of time in the United States, and crochet because I had to have my hands busy. Amanda says she has many options. Hopefully I don't have any problems on the back of this. All right, I need to fold this because we're going to need a little space. And I'll be able to take these safety pins out.
I just have a couple more of my granny squares to fix. A couple of them came apart when I was trying to hide the threads.
Yeah.
And so I need to fix those, and then I can start putting all the blocks together.
I didn't know you crocheted. Where was I
Yeah,
at?
I used to do a lot of crocheting back in the day. And I just started picking it back up the last couple of years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I used to do a lot of macrame.
I remember doing macrame, but I don't know if I can remember how to do it now.
It used to be pretty popular,
Yeah, it was. And so was ceramics. Me and my sister spent several days a week and hours inside a ceramic shop because I liked painting on greenware. And then
Yeah.
because you can get creative when you're painting on greenware. It's delicate, but it's fun.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Where I lived, there was a lady who offered a class and workshop thing, and I used to go once a week and do projects.
Learn how to do on greenware, do it on the bisque, and then there's the overglazes. You had the overglazes like there was a red glaze that you could put over the top of all the glazes, which is very pricey, real gold, real silver. And I forget what that's called, where when you look at it, it shows different colors in it when it hits the light in a certain way. Can't think of the name of that because that's an overglaze, that one. It gives it that interesting color to it. I actually have a cookie jar in the kitchen that I painted a long, long, long time ago, and it looks like a butter churn pot. And I use this glaze. It's a type of flat glaze, so I wanted it to look antique looking. I'll have to show it to you guys. Lana said I had real gold and real silver, but had my own molds too. Oh, that's cool. If me and my sister had been rich back then, we would have opened a ceramic shop because we really loved doing it. But we didn't. no money.
Oh, bro.
You know. It would be kind of hard to do the type of ceramic shop I'm talking about. You know, to start that type because the girl that has the ceramic shop here, she's using that dark clay, and I don't want to work with that. Can't hardly paint on that dark stuff. Which it has, you know, that has its pluses too because it's really makes it look, you know, antique-y. I know one thing, I have loose threads back here. This better not have been a waste just
I
now.
think if I iron the center block down onto a piece of uh, freezer paper, that would probably stabilize it better and it would make it easier to write on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think out there in chat land? Because it's not very easy to write on. I'm thinking a piece of freezer paper. Oop, that's not. That freezer
Lana said
paper?
she almost bought a kiln. Yeah,
I'd
I
agree
would
with
have loved
you.
to have owned a kiln, man. Then I would have had to, you know, I can't imagine how much electric bill is having one, but because of the heat it generates.
Okay. I gotta go over here for a piece of freezer paper.
Okay. I'm going to re-sew this one side of this one, and then I'll have to go the other direction to finish the other sides that I ripped out. I'm sorry that you hear me clearing my throat so much. My allergies have been in. Oh, by the way, Sherry, the Benadryl is helping. That's the first thing I did was look for that Benadryl in that box. I almost thought it wasn't there. Yep, because I didn't see it when I opened the box. I'm like, uh-oh. And then I found it inside the little mini sewing box. I'm like, that was brilliant putting it in there, Sherry. And thank you for sending the cold and flu medicine too.
Okay. All right, Lana agrees, and Sherry says, that's what I did. Okay. Great.
I must be going through my quilt label.
And need my paper scissors, wherever those went off to.
Yep, that's why it was dragging like that. Okay, let's get this other one where I ripped out done. And then I can do the next one. And yeah. And I'm getting close enough that I'll be able to show you the vertical lines here. And you should be able to see them because it's definitely creating a pattern.
Hello, Teresa. She wants to know, what is the lower right corner? Legos.
What? You get the question.
She wanted to know what was in the lower right corner of the screen.
This one? Oh, that one.
Are you talking about between the 4 videos or the four cameras? Are you talking about on Nikolai's screen?
She's talking about the screen view, which say it's Nikolai in the Legos.
Yeah. My husband, he's building a Lego kit.
In and out of view.
Yeah, here, let me spotlight it so you have a better look. And then I'll turn the spotlight back off.
In and out of view because obvious reasons. Here and everywhere, basically.
So what you're seeing is Nikolai building.
And he's got a lot of them.
Yep. There is lots sitting on that table. There's a lot going on there.
Oh yeah.
Teresa said, "Whoa, what a mess left out loud."
There's a lot to it anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. Can you imagine having lots of little tiny quilt pieces of quilt squares cut and it all mangled up like that?
No.
I'll be like, oh my God. But this is because he's building a different pattern, so that's why all the chaos. This is because you've already built this out of the box already once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the second one that I'm building.
Oh, the second one. Okay, got you.
Second, what do you call it? Second set.
Oh yeah, because you bought more than one set of that, didn't you?
I got this particular set. I have 3 of them. 3 exact sets.
And there's people who design secondary patterns that you can take that that original set of Legos and create with it, and that's what Nikolai's doing at the moment.
I have what do you call it? Dismantle that's all built and building the original now.
Teresa says, I can't watch my grandsons do that. I've been around Legos for so long and kids, because I bought Legos for my kids all the time. So this is like second nature seeing this kind of stuff, because my son would just, yeah, he would just empty the box onto the floor and put it all together, like, you know, and he would do it pretty fast when he was little. All right, I got that done. And after I sew these 2 rows, then I'll go back and finish the 2 that needs to be redone. And then I'll show you the vertical on this. Are y'all enjoying the new camera view? The way it's set up? Let me know in the chat what you think. I know one thing. Sometimes I really hate when fabric ravels. And all these loose threads everywhere. Hey, Mary G, welcome, welcome. And I need to fold this. Hang on a minute, y'all. I have to roll this quilt a little bit so that I can get down there on that end. All right, there we go. Now we can work with this. And then I'll be able to take these pins out.
Teresa wants to know, when is the next horse collage work? She's doing her first collage of the owl. Oh, I would love to see it. I might work on that tomorrow or Sunday.
Your horse is coming along.
Yeah, I haven't worked on it for a few days, so I need to get back to it because I've been working on these blocks.
Yeah. All right. Now we got that side done. Let's flip this around and go the other direction. And then all I have to do is touch up these verticals, and then I'll show it to you. And then we'll start the horizontal because that's going to be fun. Hi, Linda. Linda says, hi, Katie and Teresa and Nico. You all look busy. Katie, I just got the book, Quilter's 1000 book in the mail. Is that the book you're using? Yes, it is. That's what I've been using. That congratulations, you're a proud owner of the book too. Now you'll be able to make the blocks we're making if you want to. The view changed, and I wondered where Nico got his sewing machine. The view changed, and I wondered where Nico got his sewing machine here. Huh?
Huh?
Got his sewing machine here. It's Teresa. Oh, gotcha. You thought, oh, got you. No, it's Teresa sewing.
Hi, Linda.
Teresa, you all got all your blocks made. What pen are you using to sign them on with?
I am using the Micro Line Archive ink, high quality marking pens. Right there. I got these on Amazon. I don't remember how much they cost. But this ink is safe for fabrics. And they are very fine point. And I have a lot of colors to choose from. Are you asking me, Linda, what block I'm working on, or Katie?
Linda asked that too. What block are you? Linda's asking about that too. What are you blocking? I'm assuming they're talking to you because I'm quilting.
Okay, I'm going to assume they're talking to me.
Yeah,
I've been making the friendship block, and yeah, I'm done. I needed like 21 of these blocks for a block swap, and yeah, I'm done. So I'm just signing them.
Lana says, Katie, you asked what everyone was working on. I'm knitting a preemie jacket, booties, hat, mitts to donate to the hospitals. That's awesome. And Lana says she's also crocheting them. Oh, wait. Yeah. Gotcha.
Hi, Pam.
Hello, Pam. Welcome, welcome. Do anyone know whether Donna is having a live tonight or not? I went and looked and I didn't see one. I know they had flooding in their basement because someone came on someone else's live to announce that. And so I didn't know if they have things together to have the live because I was going to dump y'all into their channel. But if they're not, then I'm going to let this live go a bit.
No, she's not. There was a message from her that said they're going to be back on, I think, the 27th. 27th or 28th. I don't know. I'd have to go look again, but it was in the community tab.
Okay.
postings.
Yeah, because I wasn't even aware that had happened. So, let me see. Iris says, yes, you and Teresa, how many blocks are you making? This, what I'm working on is I'm quilting, and y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I've got quilted so far. I'm quilting my Raspberry Kisses quilt. Can y'all see the quilting? What do y'all think about that? You think that looks good so far that way? The one is for a boy. I have an adorable layout for a girl with jacket, pants, bonnet, booties, and I'll make my mitts to match. That's cool. Can y'all see the quilting?
I can. Looks good.
Okay, because I'm gonna start the other direction here. But I'm gonna take these safety pins out now. Hey Gerald, thank you, Geraldine. Thank you, Lana. All right, I'm gonna take these pins out because I don't think I'm debating on whether I shouldn't put a basting stitch along the outside edge of this very small border. I don't know. I have to make a decision about that outer edge. Or I could just put a quilt, or I could just put a quilt line down that very edge. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Just use the same stitch I'm using now, which means I'm gonna have to take this pin out. Mary G says, yes, it looks great, Katie. Thank you. All right, let me see if I can't get this thing the way I want it right here on that corner. And put the pin right here. So it doesn't move. And let's take this down this. I'm a little leery about doing that like this because I'm afraid it's going to move and look bad.
Move.
You're funny, my love. Where's my seam ripper? I think I'm going to try that again after I start the stitch anyway. I want to move it over just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. What can we talk about? Let me think. Let me see. What can we talk about, honey? Got an idea?
Future projects,
You mean sewing projects?
probably.
Well,
That's the only option.
Yesterday's live, I did mention about Motor Blockhead 6, and I also mentioned the announcement that Kimberly Jolly made about Socialites 3. So Motor Blockheads 6 was kicked off this week on Wednesday, but they didn't put a block out, or the pattern for a block, that is. The first block will be put out next Wednesday on the 28th. And I am going to try my darndest this go around to keep up. Now, do I think I'm going to be able to keep up? We shall see, because I have a lot of projects going on, but I have a couple projects that are winding down, like my magnolia. I have to cut a few more. I need to cut a few more pieces and then get those blocks put together, and then I could go ahead and, because I'm not making it a full size one, I'm going to make it a hanging, whatever you call it, or a lap quilt. It's not going to be huge. And so that project is winding down. So that frees up time to sew blocks. And I think this go around, I'm just going to do 9-inch blocks. I'm not going to try to get brave and try 3-inch ones because I'll probably just get frustrated. I like doing the tiny ones because they are so cute. So yeah, Motor Blockhead starts next Wednesday. The first block is issued out. Socialites Sew Along will start in February. So that's a great chance for me to start a new channel project because it's a free pattern. I think there's going to be 25 blocks for socialites, and you have a choice of making 3-inch, 6-inch, and 9-inch also on hers. And maybe and if I can be consistent about reminding everybody about it, then when we started in February, when they started. Now, do I think we're going to be doing a block every week? That is doubtful. But what I did think what we could do if we wanted to do it is we could do every other week like I'm doing this 1,000 block right now. And we could do, if people are up for it, maybe if I can manage to do it and not take too long, maybe I can do 2 blocks in a live and, keep everybody motivated that will participate. And it could be that no one participates and no one cares. We shall see. But it is a free pattern, and I have to say you could probably use something from your stash because that's what I'm going to do. And you can use half square triangles because Kimberly will give you that information. Hey, Kathy, welcome.
Hi, Cassie.
Oh, hang on a minute, Linda. You want to see the blocks? I'll show you the blocks. Babe, is that big book is in the bedroom, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah, because someone's asking about it right now, and I'll show it. I can stop what I'm doing long enough to show those blocks. Hang on a minute. Because we're going to be starting.
Yeah, all the videos are available, Linda. She's done them all on the channel, so.
Yeah, I started. In fact, I'll give you the dates. If you have a pen and a paper, let me give you the dates of when the lives were for the blocks, because I've been doing them on the lives.
Yeah.
And we started in February. So the first block was done on, the first block was done. I thought it was in the bedroom. It's by the printer, I think. The first block was done on February the 7th. And all of them were done on Friday nights. So if you go to my main YouTube channel page and click on playlist, find Friday and click on that playlist, and you'll see where I've done it. So I'll give you dates here. The 7th of February, the 21st of February, and then we'll go to March. For March, we did it on the 7th and on the 21st of March. In April, yeah, okay, and I need that box that has those blocks in it. I think it's one that's got a bunch of blocks stacked on top of each other. Oh, April. Let me get to April. April, we did them on the 4th and the 18th. And for this month, we have done them on the 2nd, the 16th, and we're doing another one on the 30th.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, they're on that design board that was sitting up here. No, not that design board. Hang on a minute. Bear with me for a minute. I got to remember where I laid them up because I had them out showing them the other day, actually.
These? No.
There are a whole bunch of, oh, right there under my nose. Golly bomb. Okay. I'm gonna back them up so we can start at the beginning here. Okay. Ready, Linda? Okay, this is French twist. This was block number 1.
I love that block. That's really
Me
cool.
too. It's fun. Block number 2 was railroad crossing.
Cool, cool, cool.
Block number 3 was above and beyond.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Number 4 was nested bear paw.
Nice one.
Number 5, I did 2 different backgrounds, and this one's called pivot point. So here's the first one with one background.
That's a cool block too.
It is. It was a lot of fun making it once I figured it out. The second one has a different background but it's the same block, pivot point.
I like them both.
Me too. The next one is Churned star,
Cool.
which would be number 7.
That's a really, I think I might have to get this book. That's a really cool block.
Yeah, there's so many cool blocks in that book. And
Yeah.
number 8 is this 4-patch star.
That's really cool too.
Yeah, they have so many cool blocks. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like this is turning out to be a lot of fun, not just for me because it's I'm building skill, but this is a great way for someone who's maybe only been making blocks for a year or longer. This is a great way to build your skill set because you're working with a lot of angles that are set up in different directions. This book covers, Linda probably noticed that there's 4 sections in this book. You have applique at I think it's applique is the first one. The second one is paper piecing, and then the next section is mixed blocks where they're using applique and piecing or foundation paper, and then there's one whole section that's just piecing. So that's where we're at on that, Linda. Now, if you want, I missed a block, sorry. What was this one called again? Darn it. Oh, I missed a block. This was the last block we did. Sorry.
That one, I love that one. That's so pretty too. I like
Hang
them
on.
all.
Hang on, I'll tell you what the name of it was. It was called, this is good because I wrote them in my, this one was called, darn it. Sorry guys, I kind of had a brain fart here. I forgot what it was called.
What did you say? Oh, that's what did you have? Is that what? Is that it?
I can't remember what this one was called. Dang it.
Can you
I
look
think
it
it's
up in
something
your book? Where's your book?
Now let me look it up in my book.
Was that
Alright.
like page 78?
Let me see. Oh, it's called To the Point. Duh. See, because this is the original block right here. And this is what I created with mine.
Nice. Now, does that book tells you what size to cut your fabric and all that?
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about this book. It tells you what you need to cut, the sizes, everything. What it doesn't do is tell you step by step how to put the block together. But it does show you the layout of the block down here, like a little graphic showing you the layout of how to lay the block out. And
Right.
each block has that little setup. But there's no
Okay.
instructions telling you, so this on, this on, this on. And this one block, the one called pivot point, you do a partial seam with pivot point. And the book tells you you're doing a partial seam, and it actually shows you a graphic of the partial seam. But this is the book we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Irish Sell Late, or Linda, when you go to my YouTube channel for the Friday night one and you find that first one, I've been updating each time we do a new block. I've been adding to all of the lives that relate to the 1,000 block. So there is a list of all the blocks, the page number they're on, and the block number they are. That way, if you have, because you can't just look up, you can't, there's no table of contents giving you a name of a block. So I started making sure that if you look in the description box, and every time we have a new block, I go all the way back to the first video and add that block on that list. So if someone happens to see the last video that, you know, comes on a live when we're doing the last block, and then they go to the first one, they're like, well, how do I find that? The description box will have every one of them there, because I want it to be simple enough that anyone can find it. Teresa, will you please show the quilt when you are completely finished? I am going to make that block in a bloom fabric that I just purchased yesterday, says Kathy.
Kathy, yes, I will, but I'm not sure what kind of blocks I'm getting back, because this is a block swap. So when I get all of my blocks, which that should be like in June, sometime in June, then yeah, I will show all of them that I received, and then I'll put all the blocks together, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yep. But after making all of these blocks here, these friendships blocks, I was kind of thinking about maybe making a quilt out of just friendship blocks.
Now that sounds like
Because it's a pretty simple block to do, you know.
Hey Linda, if you get stuck, if you get stuck and or if you have questions, I don't know if you're on Facebook or not, and whether you're in my Facebook group, which is Greenland Quilter on Facebook. But if you go look at my main about on my YouTube channel, you'll find my email there. Email me, and I can actually email to you the whole list of every block we've done so far, what page they're on, should you have trouble trying to see it in the description box. Because my description box has lots of links in it now. The more the channel grows, the more links show up. Because I have so many creators these days, you know, that I've made friends with. Y'all look at the back of this. I don't know if you can see the quilting or not. Let's see if you can see the design or not. Can you see the design on the back of this very busy fabric? I think this is a great
Yeah,
fabric.
I can see it. Straight line.
Yep. They're like right there, and they're far apart. So when I start doing the horizontal, you're going to see squares on the back of this quilt, which will be cool. All right. Let's take, I want to sew this other side, and then I can take these pins out. And thanks to Sherry, she sent me a little container right here of the curved safety pins, because somehow I've lost mine, and that's where the pins came from. But because it's a cute little flower container.
Oh, that was nice of her.
Yeah, I got a box from her today. It had all kinds of things in it, plus some things I had ordered too. But like this camera thing, new setup, her and her husband sent me an apparatus to put my phone on. where you can see up above me now instead of always
Oh,
upside down, what looks like it's always upside down
right.
Tripod in
with
the
a
way.
tripod because the tripod's in the darn way. And I really appreciate them for that.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I'm trying to make it so people can, because I have such a cramped spot here, so it's hard to see. I don't have a big table layout, you know, where I could like put the camera way up here and it shine down on me. I don't have that because the camera you see me in is my laptop. The
Oh.
camera that you're seeing facing down is my phone.
And I'm sure you're missing your cutting table too.
I am missing that cutting table. It sucks having to bend over and cut on that portable table.
Read it among them.
I don't know if Rita came. I don't think I saw Rita come in. Did she? I don't know. Let me see if she's in the chat or not. Let's see. It's at Crystal Grat. Is she it? No, she's actually here, baby.
Oh,
She's just
Rita.
been quiet.
Oh, Rita, if you can hear me, Santa is still in the porta pot.
Were you here when they were talking about Santa and porta potty, Teresa?
No, I don't think so.
You need to show Teresa the porta potty with Santa in it.
Oh,
It's pretty funny. My husband is such a comedian. Okay, Linda, if you need, yeah, if you get stuck, let me know and I'll help you. Or if you can't find the page I was talking about, yeah. And we have a new block coming up. We're going to be doing start checks or something like that.
all right, here we go.
Yeah. Which camera are you going to use? This one or that one?
Teresa, as you can see, I have a service truck here.
Look at the camera.
Oh, cool.
Then this one, as you can see, it's what they call a porta
Porta
potty.
Porta potty. Yep.
Yeah.
And if I open the door here, you'll be able to see.
You got to put it up there where, yeah, stick it up in front of the camera close.
Oh, Santa.
So there was a bit.
Well,
We had lots of laughter going on about that the other day in the live when he was building it.
even Santa needs to use the bathroom.
This is a service vehicle with a porta potty.
Porta potty.
Porta potty. That's what I said. Porta potty.
It's a tongue twister, that's for sure.
Porta potty. Yeah.
That's funny.
Hands are itchy. Kathy says, Santa! I have 2 videos to edit of him opening 2 Christmas Lego kits. It's going to be done. I'm going to premiere them in July because I'm going to do Christmas in July since we couldn't do the Advent boxes in December because we didn't get them until way after the holidays were over with. All right, so I've got my verticals done and I'm going to pull all my safety pins off now because we got these quilt stitches in and I no longer need the pins. That way I can get them out of the way. You try out the straight pins yet? No, not yet, but that's, I looked at them though. They're so little, like what you pick the right size, Sherry. So I'll be using them and putting them other pins away. She sent me some of those, babe, yeah. I hate to be a pain. Can you go get that little plastic clear box? The little sewing box, the clear one off the bed that came in the box today? No, no. Hey,
I got it.
it's the little quilting box for hand quilting. I'll show the pins. They're called, I forget what they were called now. I'm so bad with names. But she sent those two, and they're the small ones that like I like to use when I'm pinning my blocks. And they won't fall down inside my sewing machine. Yeah, this one. Oh, really? She sent me these. And all of you have seen these before, but this one's that they're very small, like I like to use. The needle itself, not talking about the heads, talking about the needle itself, are very tiny. Thank you for that, Sherry. And also in this little box came someone made a pocket prayer quilt. You only need to reach in your pocket and feel the cross. Oh, it's got a cross inside of it. Wow. Within this small quilt. This is a small reminder of God's grace and love. They are with you always, even if they cannot be seen, just as the cross that lies within this small prayer quilt. But look how tiny it is. It's just a little half square triangle quilt. See?
Oh yeah.
And that's the back of it. And she sent me these scissors, clipper scissors.
Oh, cool.
I have a pair of those now. So do they lock? Or do they just stay open?
They usually have a cap that goes over the top of them.
Yeah, there's not a cap on this one. But there is, it came in a little plastic bag. Or, yeah, it came in a little sleeve. And, yeah. And also, she sent me an adjustable size, open-sided thimble.
Oh.
Because I'm learning how to hand quilt. See? And it's metal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, these straight pins are heat resistant too. So if you get an iron on them, they're not gonna melt. Or they're not supposed to anyway.
Well, they're resistant, but if you leave it on there too long, they're gonna melt.
Yeah, they're called magic pins. I couldn't think of the name for some reason.
Right.
I was gonna like do a, here I spilled the beans. I was gonna do a little video and show you everything that came in the box. I went and started showing you stuff. But I'm so happy about this stand for my phone because I told Nikolai, I said, we're using that tonight. And I ordered some, John Hare comes in here and watches my lives from time to time. And usually when he's here, I'm paper piecing. And so I'm drawing lines on the back of the paper piecing so I can see the seam line. And because I don't have I don't have a light box, so I can't get my hands on one. So he suggested using a tracing wheel. So I ordered two from Amazon and sent them to Sherry, and Sherry put them in the box so that I could have them. I used to have these because I used tracing wheels when I was making my own clothes, and you could use paper in between to put the darts in, or if you were putting I forget what that's called, like a creep, where you reduce something and you draw a line so you know where to sew at. This one has really spiky ones on it, honey. This is what poked me. This one's spiky, but it's not as spiky as that big long one we have. That one has really long ones, but I don't know where that one is currently. I think I put it away so nobody would be getting hurt on it. Sherry made the pocket quilt. Thank you. So look at there. So did you make the little card on here too? Because it doesn't say it was made by you though. That's why I didn't know that. Thank you for that. That's so awesome. Little plastic box that I ordered from Amazon because I wanted to put all my hand quilting stuff in it so that when I'm sitting in the bedroom, I can keep watching TV and I'm hand quilting. I can have all my stuff into one thing instead of knocking it on the floor every 5 minutes because I had sitting on the edge of the table or something. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start doing the horizontal on this. Y'all ready to see that done? She says, I love my symbol.
I think she meant thimble.
Oh, thimble. Yeah, that's the other thing is me getting used to having things on the ends of my fingers. Y'all, I'll be right back. I'm going to refill my cup before I start quilting this next part.
Okay.
Be right back.
All right, we'll be here.
Oh, you had to dump all that out of that big bucket?
Yep.
Why? Oh, never mind. I'm not going to even ask. But you probably already told me the answer to it.
About what?
Why are you having a fine piece when that should be in that?
Yeah. Like I said, I got spare parts here and in our room.
Yeah, you got them. Yeah, they're on the bed.
Yep.
We have Legos spread out everywhere right now. Teresa, how is your horse coming along? Says Kathy.
About the same as last time you saw it.
Miss Smiley.
I haven't done much. I haven't done any on it since the last time I showed it, I think. We had to go to the doctor's appointments earlier this week. And it was a 8-hour round trip, to get there. And so that wears both of us out. So it was Brandon's heart doctor. It's the actual surgeon that did his ablation for his AFib. And so it was just a follow-up. But
I'm tempted to cut the tip.
Brandon wanted me to talk to the doctor about my heart condition thing that's going on. And I kept telling Brandon, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. This is your appointment, not mine. That's, I just didn't feel right about it. But so what's Brandon do? He brings it up. He goes, well, Doc, I just want to let you know why I wasn't here in January. It's because my wife was in the hospital. So Brandon, he brings it up. And so then the doctor just starts talking to me about it. And which I thought was really nice. And he asked me what hospital and all that. He asked me a bunch of questions. And so he gets out on his computer and he says, what's your social security number? And I told him, and he comes up and it brings up all my medical stuff.
You hear that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh.
And
what's screen up there?
So I guess they're on the same network, medical network thing. So he could see all of my test results and stuff like that. So I felt a lot better after talking to him about it. And I thought it was really nice of him to allow me to butt in on Brandon's appointment, But he told me not to worry so much, that actually my heart looks really good. And this condition is really easy to fix. So when I get tired of dealing with it, um, to call his office and it's the procedure is an ablation and, it's not AFib. It's in the different chamber of your heart, but it makes your heart go really fast too. It's called SVT. And, so I don't have to take aspirin. I don't have to take warfarin. The only thing I do take is that Metropol, and which slows down your heart rate, but it also makes you kind of tired.
So if you decide to have it fixed in the future, do they have to crack your chest to do it, or is there a different way of doing
No,
it?
they go in through the artery on your leg,
Mm-hmm.
and and camera and all this stuff. But he said the hardest part about the surgery is getting my heart to go into the rapid heart rate,
Mm-hmm.
so they can see where the misfiring is. I guess it's easier to tell with people with AFib than with SVT. Um, so that's the biggest challenge. But then also, and I know from experience with Brandon, that the wound on the leg, you have to be really careful because
Yep.
uh, you could develop like a blood clot or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember after Brandon's procedure, I went ahead and drove him home, which I should have never done because it was like a 5-hour drive. And
You
he
probably should.
didn't, and I only reason why I did it was because he did not want to spend more money on a motel room. And, well, I ended up taking Brandon back to the hospital a couple of days after his procedure because he ended up with pneumonia.
Oh boy.
And I think if I would have been, well, I don't know for sure, but I just kind of feel like if we would have stayed a couple of days in that area where he could have rested, like he was supposed to. And another thing, I think they should keep you in the hospital. I don't think it should be, you know, you go in the morning, get the procedure, hang around for 4 or 5 hours, and then they let you go.
Yeah.
You know, they should keep you in overnight for something like that. But these darn insurance companies,
Yeah.
they don't want to pay for that. When I was 14, and that we're talking, a lot of years ago, I had my appendix removed, and I was in the hospital for like 5 or 6 days.
Did yours burst before?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's what
mine
happened with
burst.
my sister. Hers burst, and that's why you had to stay longer because that poison got into your abdomen, I guess.
Yeah, it's the reason why turns out it's the reason why I was never able to have kids
Wow.
because the infection, uh,
Got into your female stuff.
yeah, got into my tubes and caused scar tissue.
Wow.
And
Hear that.
yeah, so I guess there was some other things they should have done, like I don't know. I don't know what else they were supposed to do. I don't remember, but yeah, but they kept, and then I had to stay. Uh, I was actually up by Seattle, Washington at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was with my aunt and uncle and their kids, and we were like on vacation visiting another aunt and uncle that lived up there. And so I had to stay there for like 3 weeks with my other aunt and uncle
Yeah.
because the doctor release me to drive that far home because we lived in Idaho, so that's, a long drive. So my point is, you got a lot more care back in the day,
Yeah. Hi, Sylvia. She lives in Alaska. And then Robin says, uh-oh. She says, oh my God, I just woke up. So she fell asleep. And then Kathy says, wow, that's a long trip, Teresa. Oh my gosh, what a nice doctor. Glad you felt better speaking to him. Now they do in and out too quickly, Teresa. Then Robin
Yeah.
says, my dad had a total of 9 splints put in his arteries in one day. That was crazy. When my dad was getting his bypasses, the first one he got was a single bypass, and that's when dad was telling us about he had a rare heart defect that was not, when he was in the Navy, they didn't even know about it. Most people have 4 arteries that go to the heart. My dad had 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. He was
Wow.
missing one. And but it never caused any issues. And then when he started having blockage of those arteries that make the heart work properly, he had a bypass. And a couple years later, he had a heart attack again, and they went in and they added 2 bypass. So he ended up with, uh, uh, I think the second surgery was a double bypass, the third surgery was a triple bypass, and then when he had his next heart attack, and they went in to look at the bypasses, they're like, "Didn't you say that you had a triple bypass?" My dad said, "Yep." They couldn't find any of the bypasses. They were gone from his heart. So they took him into surgery and did a triple bypass on the back of his heart. And they had to, my dad, being who he is or was, is very combative, especially when you're on narcotics. He was just, they kept him. What they ended up doing is they kept him knocked out for 2 weeks because they couldn't deal with the aggression. And when they woke him up so they could do a cath, and because they wanted to see that, make sure the blood was flowing good on the bypasses were gone again. His body was doing something to destroy them, and he never come out of the hospital after that because he developed sepsis. But I
Oh my God.
yeah, and heart disease on his side of the family. I mean, his mother, I was 2 when she had that massive heart attack that killed her. Everyone in his family have died of heart disease, including my dad, except for my aunt, who is his sister. And she died of colon cancer. Now, you probably heard me talk about this, that I found out I had an aunt that I didn't know I had, because my dad's dad, my grandpa, had an affair between um, my dad and his younger brother. Nobody knew about it except his dad. So I don't even think my dad knew about it. No one did. And the only way I found out about it was because a woman in Georgia who lives just right up the road from where Thomas is, she hired someone to help her because she wanted to find her paternal grandfather. And she knew it was one of the Oglesbys in Georgia, but she didn't know which one because that Oglesby family had like, oh my God, something like 10 boys. That's not counting the girls in that main family from my great grandfather. And so she didn't know which one it was. She just knew it was Oglesby because her mother had said so. And so they contacted 2 or 3 Oglesbys, and they kept getting the answer no. And I'm like, well, that. So when they saw my tree on ancestry.com, I got an email from the guy she was paying trying to track this. And he says, and he wanted to call me. And I said, I told him, I said, I live in Greenland, right? No, but I don't mind calling you. So he called me because he wanted to explain it better. And so he told me what they were doing. And I'm like, and I said, so everybody's been saying no? He says, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb. I said, yeah, sure, why not? So this was 2019. Then the pandemic happened because I couldn't do the DNA until I actually came to the United States and I was due to come back to the United States in 2020 because I'd already been 2018 because I go every other year. And so when they did the shutdown, that meant I wasn't going anywhere. And so when I ended up back in the States in 2022, I got a hold of them and they sent me the DNA test and I sent it back to them. And I think about a month later, they contacted me and said that they're getting ready to send me all the results, but they wanted to let me know that I have a half cousin I didn't know I had because her mother was the one that had an affair with my grandpa, and she and I share the same grandpa. So it was pretty cool. I have people, I have a cousin, half cousin that I didn't know I had.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking about that. Is so cool. I've been thinking about doing that too because I cannot imagine that my brothers were safe, when they were young.
Yep.
And I just have this feeling that I probably have a niece or nephew out there somewhere that I, never knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And which I would think would be really cool.
Yep.
So I've been thinking about doing it too.
Yeah,
Plus,
I've talked to my cousin on the phone a couple of times, and when I was so busy last year when I came to the US, but trying to deal with Thomas and QuiltCon and doing all that road tripping that me and Nicola were doing for the hot in Florida and stuff, that I didn't get a chance to meet her, but I'm going to make a point to meet her since she's a half an hour away from my son. So there's no reason for us not to finally
wow,
meet
isn't
each other.
that is so weird? She's only half an hour away.
Yeah, and that was a fluke because I didn't know she lived. I knew she lived in Georgia, but when I chose Carrollton, I didn't give any thought about her when I was doing the choice of Thomas. Let's try Carrollton because I did research on 2 or 3 places in Georgia, and Carrollton ranked like in the top 5 of best places to live as far as there was certain criteria that I was looking for. I was looking for a place he could live that didn't have an extraordinary high violence problem. The cost of living would be lower, even though it's a suburb of Atlanta. The cost of living is not too terribly bad there. Rentals, for the place he lives in, if he was actually having to pay full rent on it, it would be $900 a month. So I don't know if that's good or bad because it's high everywhere. And it was located in such a way that he should have been able to find a warehouse job, no problem. And but what really stuck out the most is when I looked up the school there. The school in Carrollton is a Gold Star school. And because Thomas is living close enough to this school, Blaze can go to that school instead of going to one of the outlying ones. And this school has been talked about in the newspapers and on the news a couple times because one of the biggest things that they constantly preach about is no kid will graduate from high school not being able to read, write, and do mathematics. So when Blaze entered the school system, he ended up with 3 reading teachers because he was behind. From California, he was behind. He was a third. When he entered 3rd grade, he was still on a kindergarten level on reading. Now he's on a 4th grade level. That's how much work they've been doing with him. And when I talked to Blaze about the reading, because I didn't know whether I'd get it, because Thomas hated reading because he couldn't understand what he read because that's his deficit. I asked him, I said, how's your reading going? And he says, good, Grandma. I said, well, what do you think about being able to read better? And he says, I'm loving reading. So he's enjoying it.
That's great.
So it was really a positive feedback I got back from Blaze. And when he starts 4th grade, they're not going to just stop what they've been doing for 3rd grade because they got him caught up. He's still going to have an extra reading teacher to make sure he doesn't drop off. Because sometimes when you first start the 4th grade, students kind of drop off with reading because they're overwhelmed by higher education. And they're going to make sure that he doesn't fall through the cracks. And he still sees a counselor on the campus he has not been in trouble once this year. He hasn't been in trouble on the bus, and the bus driver that picks him up is very, from what Thomas told me, that he's a very strict bus driver. And any kid that's caught bullying another kid, parents get called. Because one of the things that Blaze has had to learn is just because you're being bullied don't mean you get to put your hand on someone. He had to learn, because that's what he would do. He'd get angry and put his hands on them because they were picking on him. And so now he's not even doing that anymore. He's calmed down. He's going with it. And if it's too bad of a bullying, he lets his teacher know. He lets his daddy know. And then there's a discussion at the school and it's dealt with. So when I found out my cousin was living just half an hour away, I'm like, really? I couldn't believe it. Just out of fluke, because I chose a town that I thought would be good for Thomas and Blaze.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Katie, what's the name of the quilt you're working on? It's called Raspberry Kisses. So this little quilt pattern, and I have posted in my description box the link where you can find this pattern. There's a tutorial, and you can just save it as a PDF. That way, if you don't want to sit reading it on the web page itself, you can actually make a PDF out of it, and you can make the pattern, or I mean, read the pattern offline or print it as a PDF, and it walks you through how to do it. But how I stumbled onto this is I saw it at QuiltCon as a twin size quilt, and I'm like, I want to make that, and I thought it would make a great channel sew along. And something I think two people have actually made it. I think. Because it is a free pattern that you can go over and get to. What, baby?
Better be careful.
What are you threatening me with now?
I have a crazy woman here that wants to cut yours.
Look, you guys. The woman has scissors. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
too funny. No cutting my quilt.
No problem, head.
My dad's heart worked at 35% for 15 years before he passed. Robin says, my dad was 56 years old when he died. His mother was 42 when she passed from a coronary. You're welcome, Kathy. It was fun making it, because basically it's these X's and you have like a square and a square going, or one square and a square going around it. And then you join all the blocks. Because it reminds me of doing a 1, 2, 3, 4. It reminds me of doing kind of sort of a 6-patch, but that one is a rectangle going through the middle of it. Why do I have thread everywhere on the top of this thing? We're coming along with this. We might get this finished quilting tonight. Well, the horizontal part of it anyway. I've already done the vertical. Would y'all like me to do an example of putting trim around one of these X's? I'll do one of the dark ones because you should be able to see it better, and see if you think it's okay, or if you think I should just leave it alone and don't do anything to the X's to make them like shine out or not. So my question is, leave just a straight stitching and do no more to it once I get it all done, or should I do like a little tiny stitch going all around just the X part? That's it, so that it makes it like stand up a little bit. What do y'all think about that? What's your thoughts? What do you think, Teresa? There's a lot of them to do, though, if I do that.
Yeah,
That's the downside.
it's going to be a lot of work, but
That's 48 X's to do. And that's definitely not going to happen at all in a life if I were to do that.
Yeah, and those squares are pretty small,
Yeah.
so it'd probably be okay the way it is.
Okay.
But if you want more quilting on it, then yeah.
I figured if I tried to do diagonal quilting on this, and because these things are sitting like offset, I thought that the diagonal might take away from the angles of the exits, and that's why I chose not to do that. Because I do like quilting on the diagonal. I think it's more fun. It's a little crazy, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And I also have, and I cheated this time. You know how I usually make, you know how, okay, what quilt design are you using? I'm just using straight stitch, Kathy. And what I'm doing is I'm doing like a half an inch on the right. So each row has a seam going down between them. And so what I'm doing is I'm straight stitching a half inch on the right side and a half inch on the left side. And I'm doing it both horizontal and vertical. So it's going to have an interesting effect when you see it, now that I'm getting the horizontal done. What was I going to say? Something. I think I'm getting better at quilting. It doesn't seem so scary now. Robin says I would not bother. Teresa, will you be on Sunday? And if yes, what time?
If I come on Sunday, it'll be around 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Or I might come on earlier. Or I might come on tomorrow instead because Sunday is supposed to be really warm outside, like 80 degrees. And I'm going to see if Brandon wants to go on a country drive and look for mushrooms.
Oh, I was going to ask you about those morel mushrooms. What do they taste like? Is there any way for you to
Oh
describe what
boy.
they're like?
I don't even know how to describe it.
How do you cook yours? Do you fry them?
Yeah, you cook them like you would any other mushroom. They're they have a real woodsy, I guess, outdoor woodsy, if that makes sense, flavor to them. They're kind of strong
Mm-hmm.
or can be. The sooner you can pick them, the better, because the older they are, the stronger they are.
Oh, that makes
Um,
sense.
they're really good dipped in egg and then flour, and then you fry them. They're really good that way. Or like I will dry mine, and then when I'm making a soup, I'll just crunch them all up really small and
Mm-hmm.
sprinkle it in there for added flavor.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, yeah. So drying them is what I do the most, but I have sauteed them in garlic and butter and then just cooled them off and then put them in freezer bags and freeze them. So you can do it that way too.
Do you ever
Um,
incorporate them into a dish that you're cooking?
yeah, especially like spaghetti or lasagna, um, scrambled eggs and mushrooms, really good. Steak and eggs, hamburger steak, or steak and mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good that way. Brandon, I think that's one of Brandon's favorite ways.
I'll have to, because I've never had one, so I don't know what they taste like. I didn't know about morel mushrooms until I started watching Arm's Family Homestead.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain how they taste. They taste
Me?
different. They're different than regular store, those white cap mushrooms.
Yeah.
They're because those really don't have much of a flavor. to me, you know.
You have to cook them for, I like to cook them down a little bit and you get a lot of flavor that way.
But they really absorb whatever else you're cooking with
Yeah.
them, you know.
This is what I like to do. And I like to do it with the pork tenderloin, and also when we debone a leg of lamb, we'll butterfly the meat open, and then I'll take butter and melt it in a fry pan, and I'll take canned mushrooms, drain the fluid out, put them on a cutting board, and I finely cut them, and then get the butter where it's just about to turn brown, which is makes things taste nutty. And then I saute the mushrooms until they turn a darker color. They turn almost like a brownish color almost. And when they reach that, then I start adding other things like shallots and onions and salt and seasoning. And then sometimes I'll put spinach in there with it too, right at the last minute. And then I cool it down just enough that I can put it on that meat, because you don't want to put it on the meat hot. And I season the inside of the meat. Then I put that layer in there, and then we roll it up and we tie it, and then season the outside of the meat and stick it in the oven. With tenderloin, it's about 20 minutes. With a leg of lamb, it's about 35 minutes. And it is so good. And you can taste the mushroom flavor in that concoction that I like to put inside the meat. And the meat is so tender and moist. It doesn't dry. It like keeps the meat from drying out. And it also, for some weird reason, it seems to tenderize the meat at the same time.
Huh. Yeah, sounds good.
And I didn't get that from a recipe. That's one of my creations.
And I'm the guinea pig.
Yep, I always use Nikolai as the guinea pig. He gets to be the taste tester.
But gee, I'm still alive and breathing.
Yeah, I ain't killed you yet. You should tell him about that one dish you and I both realized, like, we're not eating it. That was such a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know who. Cinnamon can turn a red sauce into a mess, let me tell you. Because it was the awfulest tasting thing I had ever had in my life, or that I ever made. It was embarrassing for me because I don't like making bad food. I did. And I even went over and I showed the cookbook to Nicola. I said, does that say 1 teaspoon of cinnamon? Yeah. And I'm like, but cinnamon's very, very, y'all, in your face, kind of, you know? And,
Right.
and I thought, God, that seemed like an extreme amount. Nikolai's like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. And then when I did it and let it slow cook in the crock pot, and when I started tasting it, I'm like, this does not taste good. All I could taste was the flipping cinnamon. I'm like, something's wrong here. And when I sat down to eat, I'm like, I'm going to tell you, please don't eat this if you really hate it, because I'm going to tell you I hate it. And so he took one bite and he looked at me. He's like, you're right. It is bad. We ended up eating breakfast that night. It was so bad.
It doesn't sound very good.
No, it wasn't. I don't know why you would put cinnamon in red sauce. That's beyond me.
I think I did it a little bit small.
Yeah.
If we follow the recipe, it was bad, pretty bad.
Yeah. I love Southern fried chicken. No one made Southern fried chicken like my mother. I can't even make it like her. Uh-oh. Oh, that's interesting.
My younger sister makes really good Southern fried chicken.
And my mom made,
yeah.
and she made the best chicken and dumplings and homemade biscuits. I can get my biscuits and chicken and dumplings pretty close, but not enough, not totally close enough. But good grief, She was good at making that southern stuff. And I'm pretty sure that she learned that from her mama. She also would eat weird things that would gross me out.
Like I do.
Yeah, like you do too. Yeah, you gross me out when you eat certain things too. I'm like, really? What are you ladies having for dinner tonight? Oh, I'm going to make a roast after this live, which will be late. We'll be eating late unless I decide to could make bacon and pancakes
Yeah.
instead of chicken. Roasted chicken in the oven. Takes about 45 minutes for it to roast, and then we can eat it.
You could make
Hmm?
pancakes.
Could make pancakes and cut up that slab of bacon I bought that I want to do bean soup with.
Yeah.
We could swipe a bit off of that.
Yep.
If you want to, I'll just take the rind off because I don't want the rind on it. And remind me, I need to buy white beans so I can make bean soup before you go back to see. Crock pot time with bean soup. Smoked bacon in it.
Yum.
Yep. My mom used to make that all the time and I loved it. I didn't like her beef stew and I didn't like her chili, but I'd eat bean soup because it was yummy. And there was nothing wrong with her beef stew or her chili. I just couldn't stand either one of them. I won't even eat it anywhere, nowhere. Yeah. I don't like my red meat cooked like that. Got one more strip here, and then I'll show you where we're at on this quilting. Pot roasts are good too. Yeah, I like pot roast.
I was just thinking, you said pancakes, but French toast sounds really good. I haven't had French toast in forever.
Yeah, my kids love French toast, and their daddy did too. I'm not much of a French toast person, but I like making egg toast because I think that tastes good. All right, let me see, make sure I haven't missed something here. Looks like I got all of them except for on the outer edges, and I haven't made a decision about that yet. I'm thinking I want to put another seam on the inside around the outer edges. Okay, let's show it to you, and then I'll probably do that. All right, and you can actually see the. All right, what do y'all think? Can y'all see the quilting design or no?
Yeah, looks great. I would just leave it, but like I said, if you want it more quilting, then
Sherry said something about hand quilting the X's.
yeah, could do that.
Yeah, I could do that too. And then I could just take my sweet time messing with it. You know, do a few X's, put aside, do some more later. And here's what the back looks with that quilting. Now you have, check it out. Can you see the design or no?
Yeah, I can.
And I also put I was talking about the quilt label and I got sidetracked and didn't finish it. Normally, when I put quilt labels on my quilt, I'll cut a strip and sew it like a block when I put it on here. But today I cheated and just sewed it on top, pressed it with the iron to get the sticky thing on there. And then I put a tiny stitch all the way around it twice. So there's my quilt label.
Nice.
Binding. That's a good question of the day, Kathy. I don't know what I want to use for the binding. I had and I had actually talked about it. You see how I have all this these X's came from a fabric line, from the same fabric line, and I only used one strip off of each of those fat quarters. So I have all the rest of the fat quarter left. I thought about maybe taking and creating a 2.5 inch strip off the fat quarters again, and then sew them together until I had, but yeah, or either cut, I don't know. I was thinking like making a multi-color binding, but how much of a pain is that going to be to sew on? Robin says she likes it the way it is. Linda
Yeah.
says she says it looks great. So on the binding, that definitely would give more color on that outside over here. And it wouldn't clash with the back if I'd done that because it's very colorful on the back anyway. Let me sew that one. I'm going to put one more stitch on here. And then it'll be done quilting as far as the machine is concerned. I really need to learn to put my safety pins in its box instead of setting them on the shelf and then I knock them all off on the floor. Okay, I need to get this turned around the way I need it to be. It needs to be, okay. So we're gonna sew down that side, sew down this side. Trying to figure this out.
Robin says the X's look like teeny pillows.
Yeah, they do. It's a cute little quilt pattern. I mean, you can make a big one with this. I was just, when we were sewing it, I didn't want, I was worried if I was so new to doing this channel then, and I didn't know how much time people would invest in watching me do that. And now I'm not so worried about it because I have 3 collaborations that I said I wasn't going to finish anytime soon. We're going to spend the whole year doing it. Well, one of them's not going to spend the whole year, but the other 2 will probably. Well, definitely the channel So Long might last all the way till December. We'll see. But the Star Climber, I don't know when we're finishing. Gonna, because me and Sean haven't really discussed any kind of rushing around to get that done. We're taking our time with it because there's lots of paper piecing going on. I don't know if I want to do that or not, man. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Leave it alone or touch it. I'm thinking there should be a seam line right on the inside of that border. Yes, Katie, a combination of colors for binding because of the white background in the quilt. Yeah. Let me see here. Maybe I can stitch it in the ditch or close to the ditch anyway. That actually might be a good idea. Let's try stitching it in the ditch. Maybe. I thought this, it's hard for me to see with this big old foot. But I think this foot actually can slide off. But I don't remember how to get it off and change it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. What do I want to do? Or you know what? I'm gonna leave it for right now. Let me show you guys and see what you think about this edge right here. I'm gonna spotlight the other camera, and all of y'all have a look at this and tell me what you're, because I would like a feedback. I'm looking for feedback. This comes down, honey, or do you have to push something to make that come down? I need it to go down with, careful, babe. Did it break? I want them to be able to see a portion of this where they can see this right here. So can it go down just a little bit from up there or something? Or no? Okay, maybe. Then turn this one this way. Okay, that's good enough. That ought to do it. I hope I'm not making anybody sick.
Okay, got it.
Got it?
It changed.
Okay. All right. See how I did on this seam right here, I did a 1/2 inch on one side and a 1/2 inch on here. But down here on this outer edge right here where the border is, should I leave it like I have it or put a seam right next to that? What do y'all think? Because right now there's no seam on this side or no quilting right there.
I would sew down it.
So down it.
Yeah.
Katie, you can always do after binding if you feel it needs it. Yeah, this is true. I don't know what an after binding is, but yeah, because I feel like I want to close this in and make it look like a box. Like the rest of, because see how these all look like they're in a box? Because I sewed on all sides of it. Okay, Kathy agrees with you, Teresa. It's funny how that camera thinks these are almost the same color when they're not.
Yeah. On my phone, they all look orange, but on my laptop, I can tell better that they're
Yeah.
one is yellow.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. No one else has a comment to say on this?
Are you doing Social Lights 3?
Someone asked me that. Oh, did I
Yeah.
miss it? I am. I plan on doing it because I think I'm gonna do it as a channel sew along. Because it starts in Socialite starts in February of 2026. All right. Based on 2 comments, I think I will put that seam down here. Do you think I should do it the same distance away that I did all of these other ones?
Is that a seam?
There's a seam right here
Yeah, I would sew right on that seam.
because this is the border right next to it.
Right.
The binding space is going to cut half of this border in half.
Right.
Because
That's why I would sew that down, is because
yeah.
otherwise it's gonna make those blocks all on that edge puff up differently than the rest of them on the inside.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Okay. That makes good sense. Now, yeah, because sometimes I don't always understand the mechanics of the block sometimes. Okay, got you. So that's what I'll do. So instead of doing it a 1/2 inch away, just do it right next to the seam, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Do it on the inside closest to the block or on the outside where on the border itself.
I would sew in the ditch.
Okay, got you. How wide is the binding going to be? Usually I do 2.5, which means
So,
which means it'll take a 1/4 of an inch off this border, right?
oh wait, you really do that thick of a binding?
I've always ever done 2.5. I could do 2 1/4. Would that work?
Yeah, yeah, but you flip that over, right? So it's
Yeah,
not actually,
I
yeah,
flipped it over, so
yeah,
it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be this huge thing.
it's only going to be over on your quilt, like
Yeah, it should fit snug all
not
the way on
even a
both
half
sides.
an inch.
Yeah, it should be like a 1/4 inch on both sides. So I could do
Right.
2 1/4 instead of 2.5.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Because I did do a pretty narrow border on there. I don't know what I was thinking about. Kathy says she wants to participate in Socialites 3. She's going to use Wild Honey Collection by Layla Boutique, either 6 or 9 inch. Yeah, I'm gonna participate, and I think I'm gonna make it as a channel sew along because it is a free pattern, and people can choose what they want to use for fabric. I'll probably, knowing me, use boutiques. because I'm not tired of batiks, and I don't know when I'll get tired of them. Maybe never. Closest to the block for a uniform look. Okay, got you. All right.
How, what does that measure from the, your outside border there? What is the finished size of that border?
You mean from the outer edge to where it already is sewn on?
Yeah,
Okay. It looks like it's a half an inch. It is a half an inch. Well, no, it's 5/8 of an inch.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I did put a narrow one on there, didn't I? I don't know why I done that. Maybe because I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. And there's nothing wrong with it. I just have to be careful what size binding I use. So maybe 2 1/4 would be better.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of, because there's already a line there, that's why
Mhm.
I said to sew in the ditch.
Okay.
I don't know how that would look if you sewed below the line,
Uh-huh.
you know, because then it would look like you had double lines there.
Yeah, it would on the outside, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause right now we have double lines in between each block. Actually, if you count it to stitch, the seam stitch, there's 3 lines. But it doesn't look that way when you're looking at it. Okay. All right. So
I
that's
mean the line that's there now, when you put the if you put the other line away from the block, the X, like
mm-hmm.
you did the same measurement that you did with all the other
Yeah.
sides,
Yeah.
um, I think that would look funny, but
Yeah, because you're right, because there's such a narrow spot over here. Because I
yeah,
had to, because there's no borders in between over here, and there is over here, and it's short, or it made it, yeah, because when I look at the measurement between the seam line and the actual block, there's only 5/8 between that too. So there's no way to get a half-inch seam line down that side without it being almost against the block.
yeah, yeah.
Huh?
So personally, I would just sew on that line right in the ditch, but
Okay.
you know,
Yep, it's 5/8 of an inch. Wow, I don't know what I was thinking about when I done that. Okay.
hi Terry.
Right above the X like the rest. Okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, she's talking about up here. Okay, got you. Someone else just come in here? Oh, hey, Terry. Welcome, welcome. All right. You can move my camera back up, babe. And then I have to learn how to use this thing myself because you're not going to be around. Something's on my screen.
It's just that there. Right. You do this.
Okay, watching.
Then
Oh, we have to straighten this back up again, too?
yeah. Every
Which
time.
is up
I
there.
haven't seen the Wild Honey collection by Lala Boutique
You want me to
yet,
put
Kathy.
it
I
up
have
or-
to look that up.
Actually, this is fine like this.
Right.
Okay, I think that's okay like that. All right, let's go ahead and do the stitch in the ditch part. Question regardless of binding size, it's only 1/4 on the front. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because what I do is I machine sew the binding on, and then when I flip it over, I stitch it with the sewing machine again. When you get the borders on, you won't see the stitching. Sherry says, Mike, yeah, she spoke. Kimberly was on her live. She talked about it the other day on a live too. So it's this. I haven't watched. Today's Friday. I haven't watched her live yet. Usually watch it when I'm in bed.
I think she do it live today.
She did, and I didn't see it because I was doing other things, as always. I wish I could change the foot on this damn thing.
I wonder what it would look like to use your backing as your binding.
I don't know. You could put, that's actually a great question. Let's turn
Fold
it
it,
over.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
fold it
about to do
over.
that. Wait, let's do it so it's actually yeah, where it's in the middle of that.
Well, that is a little too wide.
Yeah, I know it looks wide
Yeah,
because I haven't trimmed it yet. Let
right.
me just lay it. It's hard to ignore that wide part of it, but that's what it would look like against the white.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
I like it too.
If you use that thick, then I wouldn't stitch that line down.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't do. You wouldn't have to do any more quilting.
So this would need to be trimmed down to what? If I if I left this off, if I didn't cut this off and then make a binding, couldn't I just make the binding if I just cut this down to the proper width?
Yeah.
So what width would you make it as?
Um,
The other thing is how do you get the corner done?
the same way.
But I'm used to just wait. If you go down here to the corner and it's already yeah, how do you do the what do you call that again?
Mitered corner.
Yeah, how would you get the miter by doing if you've already got it already on here that way?
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it'll be different, and I don't know how to do it. But I've done it that way where a piece is already on here.
Yeah.
There's that. But I could trim this down. Cut. I have plenty of this fabric still left. I can actually use this as binding too. You know what I cut off, and then resew it back on again. People are saying they like that. What with the background on the front.
Yeah, and if you did that, I just would. I guess I wouldn't do any more quilting. Like, don't quilt on that line. Just leave it the way it is, and make
Okay.
a chunky binding.
Okay.
What do you think? You like that?
Yeah, when I'm looking at it in the camera, it really goes good with the background.
Yeah, that's what I think. And it goes good with your blocks. It's got all the colors.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got all the colors that are in these blocks. That's why I chose this as a background or a backing. When I was going through my drawers, and first I was going to use something else. I was going to use red, and then I got to look and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that? And I pulled it out. And I'm like, holy crap, that has all the colors that are used in the front. It's like, and this was probably one of those so yeah bundle 1 yard things, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do with it, so it's sitting in a drawer. Now I'm using it. And actually, it was more than a yard. It looked like it was 2 yards. So it must have been a 2 yard bundle or something. But it's very pretty. Flowers and all these other little designs on. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll use this as the binding instead.
Now, as far as the batting is concerned, you can
Mm-hmm.
cut it all out.
Cut it all out to where the edge of the border is, right?
Yeah. Or if you want a fatter binding, you can leave some of it in.
Okay.
But I always cut it out. But you need to be really careful when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Um, it's a little bit easier to do it with a scissors instead
Mm-hmm.
of
The rotary cutter.
rotary cutter.
Okay. Okay.
I
And
have a
then I'm trying to remember because once you trim that down, you'll have to try to do some math, but I from the edge of your last border right there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you want to go about
1.5 inches or 2 inches.
yeah, like an inch and a half because you're going to be folding that over
Yeah, because you
and
want it.
then folding it again. So
Yeah,
you're
because you're
still
gonna
going to
do. Yeah, because I'm gonna want to do it like that, right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, if I fold it over, I still have to cut the batting out, right?
Unless you don't have to, if you like it fat like that, you can leave it in there.
Okay. I just need to know how to do that mitered part on the end. I don't know how to do it like that.
Well, you don't have to do a mitered corner.
Let me triple fold this down here.
Yeah, it'll be a little tricky with all that batting in there.
Yeah, there's going to be all that bulk. It's really
The
thick.
other thing, yeah, see, that don't look that bad.
Sorry, guys. Keyboard in the way.
I'm sure there's a video on YouTube on how to do mitered corners.
I know Tiffany does my watched some of them in depth because I get distracted. Katie, yes, be careful, Katie, because one time I goofed and cut the binding too close, and then I had to cut a little bit of the quilt off. Yeah, I don't want to be cutting off more because that's such a narrow border on there. I don't know what I was thinking when I done that. Maybe because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it to start with. That's probably what it
Yeah.
was. And I didn't know what kind of backing I was going to put on it or anything. But I got this wild hair yesterday. I'm like, you know what? We're going to quilt tonight. I'm not making blocks tonight. I wanted to do something a little different. Okay. So an inch and yeah, what I could do is trim it to 1.5 inches and then go find me a video and see how they walk you through doing that miter. Or don't trim it until I've watched the miter one anyway. That's what I could do, probably.
Okay, let me think a minute. I think you need to, let's see, if you cut it at 2 inches and then you fold it down, that's going to make it 1 inch. And then you fold it again, that's going to be a 1/2 inch.
So,
All right. So if you started with 1.5 and you fold that down, then that's going to be 3/4, right?
yeah.
75%. Yeah, 3/4. And then you fold that again. That's going to be like 0.33.
And then when you fold it over the top of it, what are we going to be looking at?
So you're looking at like, let me get my ruler here.
And I need to get a pencil to write this information down too.
I think it would be about 3/8.
Okay. So that's
So I think it would be a little bit smaller than 1/4 inch.
yeah, so I was gonna say that sounds like it's just a hair below 1/4. So
Yeah.
and that would be starting with a 1.5 inch.
Yeah.
And then fold, which would be a
So
1/4,
1.5 inch, and
then fold it
you
again.
cut that in half. That makes it about,
That takes it down to 1 inch, and then when we fold it again,
no, it's not 1 inch.
oh, wait.
Let me get a piece of paper.
This
You
is the
start out with 1.5 inches. Half of 1.5 inches is about 7/8.
and you said a half. So
And
start out,
then,
go back. Can we go back to the 1.5 so I can write with you? So the
yeah,
1.5 we're starting out with, and then how much are we going to fold it over as?
so you fold it in half.
I'll fold that in
So,
half. Okay, fold in half.
yeah,
Okay, and that gives me what?
I think it's somebody, oh, here's a calculator. Hold on.
Fold it in half. Okay. My little notepad that I usually have in here. I must have toted them all to the bedroom. You having issues over there, baby?
Yeah, we're gonna shoot it out.
I need notebook paper.
So once you fold the 1.5 over, then you should have like 3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch. Okay.
And then when you fold that over, this calculator's not working. Okay. That's going to give you,
Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. Not last seam. Yeah, last stitching line. She said, Alana says,
that'll
true.
get you like, so after you fold, yeah, so it was what I said the first time. It'll be about 3/8. So 1.5, fold it over. You should get about 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Fold that in half, and you should get about 3/8.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I've written it down so that I can understand it better. I
You
understand what
know,
you're saying.
give
I
or
can
take
visualize.
a smudge here and there.
Yeah, I can visualize what you're saying now. Okay. Now I understand. That's why I had you repeat it again. Sorry.
So your binding will be a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch all the way around visually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it didn't
So
matter, right?
no, it does. So it'll be a little bit smaller than normal.
I think I lost. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Why can't I see you? Oh, I know why I can't see you. Never mind. I found it. And I need to take.
Robin thinks that's way too small.
So if you wanted it to be just a tad bigger, you could do 1 3/4, right?
Yeah.
And get the same thing.
Yeah.
So you could do 1 3/4, fold it in half, and what
That
would you?
would get you closer to 1/4 of an inch, which is the
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do 1 3/4 for your first cut.
Okay. And then when you fold it, you get another dimension. And then, yeah. Okay. Got it. Now I understand what we're talking about now. Good. Um, that makes sense to my brain. Okay. All right. That makes total sense. Yeah. Okay. What time is it, babe? Oh, hang on. Let me see what time. I don't know how long we've been live now.
It doesn't have to be a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can make your border any size you want. You know, like Kate from the last homely house, she makes she makes really big chunky
Yeah, I've seen
bindings.
the chunking bindies too. And this one probably
Yeah,
could
she comes down like 2 inches into the quilt with her bindings.
yeah. So, yeah. Do you have enough fabric all the way around 4 sides? Yes.
We've been left 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, see, we're doing pretty good on
Hi,
time.
Jody.
On this left side, let me measure the left side because that's the only side that's narrower than the rest of it. Let me see how much I got on that left side. I have, maybe not enough on this one side. No, I have 1.5 on that left side.
So Yeah, so it'll be little bit small if did the
If
1.5.
if
It's
I
going to
did,
be a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch,
yeah.
which I think that would look kind of cool with your little squares, but
Hmm.
that would be a nice thin
Yeah. Because this,
binding, but it's up to you. Play around with it, folding it over and see if that's what you want to do. Maybe that's not what you want to do because of the mitered corner thing.
yeah, the mitered corner is the part that's gonna be my brain is gonna have trouble with because I finally got I find most of y'all know that when I do the binding, I always I do it the way everybody's supposed to do it, but when I get to the end where you join the two ends, I struggle with that constantly. And I finally getting where I'm doing it, where I'm not making a mistake and having to resew it multiple times until I get it right. So I don't know how I would do the miter here without goofing it up and making a hot mess. Because sometimes it depends on whose video and if it's good enough for my brain to get it.
Yeah.
That's always it's always problematic with me because I'm angle challenged. Always challenged. You know what I did earlier today when I was basting this quilt? You want to hear something funny?
What?
Nikolai's talking to me, and we're talking about this apparatus for the camera, and I'm using painter's tape to tape down the back. And guess which direction I taped the backing? I,
Uh-oh.
I put the right side up. So I
What?
lay the batting on top of it, and I go to pin on the quilt top, and then I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong here, and I'm like, uh-oh. So to unbaste all of it, to turn the backing right side down, not right side up. She said I would cut out the batting and use backing as borders. Yep, definitely going to use the backing as the border. I mean, as the binding. And I still have plenty of this backing too. So
Yeah.
if I'm sitting here talking, I could be clipping off loose thread on the back. Where's my scissors?
Did you say you were ready to go? Or are you
No,
staying on? Oh,
I
okay.
stay a little bit longer. Yeah, I was just
Mm.
I didn't want it. I didn't know where I was running at on time because sometimes I lose track of time. Sometimes I deliberately will let it run time because I want more watch hours. And lately I need the watch hours because my watch hours are down a little bit because I notice my watch hours drop when I take personal time off, mental health off. They drop a little bit.
Yeah.
So I need to start making some content that I can, pre-record content. I understand that. Even Sean mentioned it to me. He says you haven't been making much pre-records, and he's right. I haven't. I've been so busy concentrating on live that I kind of threw the pre-records under the bus.
Yeah. I kind of quit making pre-records too.
And I didn't realize that, that if I had backup for when I do take a mental health week off, I have backup by putting pre-records up.
Yeah.
And I need to work on that little issue so that it's, makes because I'm sure it'll make the channel better. There is
You
Yeah.
should just do some 15-20 minute videos of walking around Greenland.
Well, that's going to happen for sure because we're going to make a video behind because I don't think y'all have seen what the back side of our town looks like. We haven't done a live or anything like that, or even a pre-record from back there. So that is on my to-do list before he goes home or goes back home. Oh my God, did I just say that?
Yep. Going back to my mistress, you mean?
Yeah, I meant mistress, not home, because this is home. Yeah, because what you have what? It's about to be June the 1st soon, so you have about a month left, right?
Stays what?
Today's the 23rd, I think.
We got about 28 days left.
Yeah, you got about 28 days left. So it's going to start running away from us, especially if we start having to work on top of it. We don't have to work tomorrow, so there was that. I was concerned about working tomorrow and then being too tired to do a live. Sometimes when you spend all day talking to tourists inside the tannery, I come home brain dead from all the talking. Especially if I've done more than 6 tours in one day. I went not last summer, but the summer before, there was one day where I did 12 tours. And I told my boss, I'm like, I never want to do that again. Because that just was too much. Because I just couldn't, I couldn't even think straight. I was exhausted. I didn't get a lunch break or any kind of break. And I think I was a little bit dehydrated on top of it.
There was one time where I brought you a drink.
Yeah, sometimes when Nikolai's here, he goes and brings me something to drink because he knows that I might not drink while I'm in there. I'm trying to do better about that because I've noticed that if I don't drink enough and I get hot, it gets hot in the tannery. It's not hot in the tannery, but when you have 30 people breathing on you, there's all that body temperature that raises the temperature, and I just get hot, and then the next thing I know, I want to go throw up. Was the square? No. Kathleen, it wasn't. Okay. Hey, Kathleen, it's been a while. So you are basically, hang on, let me go find it. Let me read you how you do this. Let me go get the link and I'll share it with you guys so you can have a look also. Hold on a minute. Let me get the link real fast. I probably closed it, knowing me. Oh my God, here we go again. Every time I say knowing me, that song pops in my head.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song, but right now I'm on a Scorpions. Right now I'm on a Scorpions kick.
Are you?
Yes, we have a song that describes me and Nikolai getting together.
Theme song.
It's our theme song. What's it called again, babe?
When You Came Into My Life.
It's called When You if you have a chance and if you like Scorpions music, Teresa, it's called When You Come Into My Life. Listen to the words. It's so beautiful. Where is that tutorial? Oh, here it is, because it's Wooden Spoons that made it. When Wooden Spoons was at QuiltCon, and that's how I come about this quilt top. Because when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I want to make one of these. And I went over and was looking at it, and I was taking pictures, and the owner of the shop comes up and talks to me. I said, would it be allowed to use this in a YouTube creators channel as a sew along? And she said, sure you can. I said, so is the pattern, do I need to buy the pattern and will I be allowed to use a measure? She says it's a free pattern, and she gave me the link to their site. And away I went, and when I found it, it was like, wow. She was really nice about it. She told me I could use it as a channel so long, and I did. Hang on, I'm looking for the link right now. So it's called the Raspberry Kiss, and they made it as a tutorial on the Wooden Spoon Quilts.com, and I'm going to share the link here in a minute. And then I'll read a little bit about how the lot goes together so you'll understand. Where is my chat at? There you are. Yeah, it has been a while. How you been doing, Kathleen? Here's the link to the Raspberry Kiss. Now let me read you some of this. So you're basically you're going to use a to make this square, you use 4 1.5-inch square. For the background, you use 4 1.5-inch squares. Here, let me show. Hang on, I'm gonna share the screen. This will make more sense by showing it to you. Y'all ready for seeing it? Where's my Zoom at? Dang it. My Zoom keeps disappearing on me. I wonder why. Oh my gosh, where did you go?
So when the program's open,
Too many windows open. You know me. I found it. Now I can share the screen. Okay, let me show you this pattern. And this is all we did. Teresa and honey, let me know when you can see the screen.
I see it. Oh, you mean on YouTube?
Yeah. So this is what the block looks like before you sew it together. You have 4 1.5-inch squares for background, and then you choose your color you're going to make, and then you make 2 1.5-inch squares, and you make one 3.5 by 1.5-inch square, and then you sew all of this together. And it's very, yeah. And then you end up with a cross. And then you put a square in a square, which offsets it, puts it in the offset position, and you end up with X's. And that's all there is. And then you sew all these little blocks together, depending on how many you decide to make. And it even tells you how to do the square in a square, which I showed on one of my lives. I can share the link for the live if you want that. Because it was last year. We did it last year in, I want to say mid-year, I think. And it talks about how to trim down and how to sew them all together. And there you go. That's all there is to this. So you're not even doing paper piecing. It also tells you, there is a thing down here that says, that if you wanted to do it bigger, yeah. If you want, here's an example. If you base your entire crisscross block on 2.5-inch squares, the center block will be at 6 inches. Each 6-inch is the inside square finished length. And the calculator tells you to cut the corner to 5 1/8, and the size of your finished block will be 8.5. So if you wanted to make them bigger, they give you information here on how to make it where it'll make an 8.5, 8.5-inch block. But I didn't want to make it bigger because I like the small size to it. Okay, so that's yeah. So save that link if you want to follow through on that. How big are the triangles? The triangles, hang on. What are you doing? Go away. I'm Advis. Such a pain. Hold on a minute. I have to get rid of a screen that popped up. Let me go back to my browser. The half triangles have to be see here. Corner triangles cut. You need 3-inch squares, and then you cut them diagonal. Well, yeah, of course. So yeah, you just need to cut 3-inch squares to get your half triangles. That's all you gotta do. Okay, now what was I gonna do here? Tomorrow for the lot, yeah, I can, yeah, because a lot of people weren't here earlier when I talked about tomorrow. And Teresa, if you want to join me tomorrow, you're welcome to if you're not busy. but you sound like you might go out tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to work on my dragon fruit tulip pink monthly sew along from Fat Quarter Shop, because I'm making that for my granddaughter. And I haven't done a lot on it for this past month because I've been sidetracked doing other things. But next week, so the 26th, I'm doing a pre-record podcast with Blessed to Crochet. The 27th, I'm having a live starting at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's going to have Amanda from Scraptastic Crochet, Shonda from Under the Needle. Yeah, wait, yeah. And Andy from Crafty Witch. We're going to be doing a crochet live. And each one of us will be doing our own project. And I'll also be doing another unboxing of a crochet kit. And then Wednesday, I have a premiere that starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Tasha from Tasha Quilts. Then on the 29th, I will be working on a UFO. Friday the 30th, we are going to do block number 9 from the 1000 from the 1000 block book, and I'll tell you what the name of the block is called. Star Checks, and those that have the book, it's on page 300, and it's block number 586. So we're going to be doing this one right here. So hold on, let me show
Can I
it to
ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Jody wants to know if you guys worked on the sewing room.
No, not yet. But we're going to. That's on our agenda. We have 2 things on our agenda for the rest of the month when Nikolai's here. That room, we're at least going to try to get part of it done, but we have to do something out here before we can do that in there. But what we have to do out here won't take long. And also we're gonna try to get at least one raised bed in outside where I can grow some vegetables. But anyway, that block looks like this. That's what we're doing a week from today. So we're doing another star. I know, we've been doing lots of stars lately. And then Saturday, I'll probably do another UFO. Now, I have a little surprise for you guys. How many of you have gone over and watched the channel True Blue Quilts? Anyone? That poll looks weird. Someone must not like the camera angle. 6% said no. But why?
I don't think I've ever seen that channel.
Yeah, I never heard of it until Sean made mention of it. True Blue Quilts. Her name is Andy. It's interesting because I'm meeting another Andy. Okay, so anyway, I am doing another interview podcast with her, and we're going to be doing that on where's the date for this at? Because I know I put it on here. Uh-oh. I think we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it June the 2nd. I think. Yeah. Yeah, June the 2nd. No, it's not June the 2nd. Sorry. Hang on, let me go look at my email because for some reason, I don't even see it on my calendar. I must not have written it in. Be right back. Well, I'm still here. I'm just going to look at my email. Hang on a minute, you guys. I'll tell you what that date is.
June the 2nd
is the live with you. Oh, June the 2nd is going to be a live with Nikolai and Andy from Crafty Witch because they're going to build Legos. All right, with True Blue Quilts, we're going to do the pre-record. Oh, hang on a minute.
Well, well, she has like 16,000 subscribers.
Yeah, she does,
I-
and I've
I'm
been on.
surprised I've never seen her pop up in my.
I know. I'm with you on that one because I'd never heard of her.
There,
And
I put her link in the description box.
okay, thank you. So I was in her. Sean mentioned her, so I went and I looked her. I found her live actually by accident. And I'm like, oh, I need to go check her out. So I went and sat in her live for a little while, and then she and I had said hello, and she saw that I had said hi, so she was talking to me, and I said, Sean sent me over here to check you out, and she's like, Sean's good like that. So I guess she's been on Sean's channel before, only I wasn't aware of it. And we got to talking on the live, and I said, would you be interested in doing an interview with me on my channel? And she said yes right there on the live. And normally I don't poach on a live. I don't. Some people would call that poaching. And that wasn't my intent, but it just turned out that way. She just automatically said, send me an email, and I sent an email, and we talked back and forth for a bit, and the next thing I know, we're setting up a pre-record. And I'm really happy about that because she's very friendly and nice.
Yeah, her picture looks very friendly.
She was super friendly, yeah.
And
Normally someone that big of a channel, they don't even want to give us little channels the time of day, you
she's
know?
got like 657 videos.
Yeah. Let's see here.
What's her first name?
Her first name is Andy.
Andy. Oh, cool. Well, I look forward to seeing that video.
I'll let y'all know on the date because I think it's in the first week of June is what we scheduled because I don't think there was no way I could squeeze it in on the last week because I'm covered up. I have too many things going on next week. And I'm doing cruise ship. There's a cruise ship Sunday and we're not sure if we're working or not. Then we have another one on Friday of the 30th. And then by the time we hit July, we're going to have 21 cruise ships. So I'm going to be slammed. I'll let you know on the date when I find the date we chose. And Joy T says she's seen her on a few channels. Yeah. Teresa, could you please? They want to see all your friendship stars.
Okay.
And I'll spotlight you so you can show them all. In the meantime, let me figure out why I didn't write down when we were doing that podcast. I could have sworn I did. That bugs me. I know darn good and well. I wrote it in the wrong month, honey. No, I didn't. That's something else. Never mind. That was a cruise ship named that. Oops.
How is your owie?
Oh, you want to see? Hang on, I'll spotlight you long enough for you to see my fight with the fillet knife. It's healing though. It's doing good. Katie, which quilt calendar is that? This one is the A Quilting Life Planner and Workbook. All right, let me spotlight the camera that's overhead so y'all can see my little handiwork with my finger. It looks good though. It's doing good. It's still tender. See where I cut it?
Oh, yeah.
and it's right in the joint. So if I bend too much,
Yeah.
it still hurts. And I try not to bend too much because I don't want to reopen it because it's quite deep. And I never seen so much blood in my life. It every time I thought I had it stopped, it and I we would put a tight paper towel on it because we started out with a paper towel to start with. And then at some point, Nikolai's like, "We're gonna have to break out the big guns. Let's get a band-aid and put it on there extremely tight," which hurt, but he needed to get because it wouldn't stop bleeding. It was just bleeding excessively, and there was blood everywhere. It was crazy. And what had happened was um I was trying to take a hip bone off the chicken thigh because I debone chickens and I cut chickens apart because I that's the way I was raised. And when I went to stick the fillet knife between the thigh bone, the end of the thigh bone that goes into the socket to the hip bone, I went to stick the knife through there and I had my finger where it wasn't supposed to be.
That'll do it.
And by the time I realized that I had my finger in the wrong place, because when I slid the knife through that joint, my finger was on the other side. And by the time my brain says, "Hey, you need to move your finger," it was too late because the very top half of the knife caught it and went right through my flesh. That's how sharp the knife was.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, "Nico, I need your help." And he knew something was wrong when I started hollering.
And and then the next day I was doing something and I had a little pair of snips and I was holding something and I was cutting it
Mhm.
towards my hand. And of course I snipped my hand right here.
Oh, that hurts too
And
when you do that.
oh yeah, and that little thing would not quit bleeding either.
Yeah.
And I finally had to put a Band-Aid on it too. And it still hurts.
You would,
That scissor went in there pretty deep.
yeah. You'd think at 63 years old, I would stop cutting myself when cutting up chicken. I mean, right here on this knuckle on my left hand, there's like 4 scars from where I had cut my knuckle because I was trying to cut chicken like my mother did. And one day my mother saw me doing that and she's like, "Don't do it the way I do it." I said, "But that's the way you're teaching." She says, "Yeah, and I made a mistake because you just cut yourself because you watched me do it." And so she showed me a different way to do it. Now I do not do that cutting that way. And it was just stupid the way I cut my finger this time. It was just
I
dumb.
I use kitchen shears. They're heavy
Yeah.
duty, s- you know, scissors
Mm-hmm.
to cut up my chicken. It works a lot better.
I need to buy a good pair next time I go to the US. The ones I have here they're garbage. And
Okay, you want me to show these blocks real
yeah,
quick?
me screenshot ya so you can show these blocks.
Some of them are, I mean, they're all just friendship blocks, and some of them are the same fabrics. So if there's more than one of the same fabric, I'm not going to keep showing it over and over again. So here's a dark purple,
That's pretty.
and I did put my name in there, and I drew a flower, and I did that on all of the blocks. Here's a light purple.
Oh wow. What fabric line is that from? I like your flower you put on there though, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so all of them got my name and that flower, and I have several blocks of that color. And Katie, I don't know what fabric line it is because it's just fabric that I pulled out of my
Okay, gotcha.
stash, and like fat quarters, and they didn't really have a name on them. So, all right, here's a different color.
I know about her.
That's pretty. No, can you smell cigarette smoke?
I really like this next one. The color of the fabric is really
It's
cool.
this window.
What do you know?
That one.
Oh, I like that. That's
She said,
pretty.
boom.
Yeah.
Is that one? So I have quite a few of these in the light purple one.
Yeah. I see that.
And then there's a pretty pink one.
Oh, I like that. Nice.
That one.
You had to make 21 of those.
Yeah.
So what is it going to be, like 7 by something or something? Or no, it's for 21 people. Got it. Never mind.
Yeah, there's 21 people.
Okay, got it. Yeah, 'cause
Another purple one. But I
yeah.
made a lot in that cup, that color, and I got a green one over here.
The green one's pretty too.
Yeah. And then I have some other blocks that I'm adding to it.
Okay.
Um, so these are friendship too, but it's done a little differently.
Yeah, that's super cute. I like that group of 4 in a big block.
And Kathy, do not ask me the sizes of these, okay? Because I don't know.
That's pretty.
And then I have this one
I like that one too.
and this one.
Wow.
So I figure they can just, put whatever block they want with what other grouping of other blocks. But this gives them a little bit of variety.
Yeah, it does. That's outstanding.
And this is the last one.
Gorgeous. They're all pretty.
Thank you. So that's it. This is a really cool block.
I like that one a lot. It looks very interesting.
It's half square triangles, the whole thing, 2.5 inch half square triangles, and then it's just the way you put them together.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this poll. So I posted a poll and the question was, are you happy with the new camera angle? Give me some feedback in the channel too after you vote. There was 33 votes. 94% said yes. 6% said no. So I'm wondering, with the 6% who said no, what part of it do you not like? Because I think you got a better angle unless you're wanting more. Right now I have it down too low because we moved it earlier, but at one point you could see the sewing machine too. So if you said no, what do I need to fix on it? Because this is the first time I actually have this camera pointing in the right direction. Your blocks are beautiful, Teresa.
Thank you.
I need pain medicine, babe.
Ooh, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I started yarning about 10 minutes ago and I can't seem to stop it. I'll go through. Do you ever go? I don't know if this is an older thing or what, but do you go through a spell where you yawn for like 20 minutes and then stop and you're fine again?
No,
I mean, a couple times a day, and I can't stop until it just runs its course.
but sometimes I'm really tired and I lay down,
Mhm.
and about 15 minutes later, I kind of startle myself awake, and then I'm like wide awake.
Yeah, so you just needed that little tiny little break.
Yeah.
Me, that don't help. So
Let's
much.
race. Okay, Joy. let's do that because I'm trying to figure this out so that everybody's happy with what they're seeing. Babe, so all I have to do, come over here. All I have to do is undo this part, right?
Yeah.
We want to raise it up some more.
Just crank it down.
Move it up like that,
Yeah.
right?
And
then tighten it again.
tighten up, then you got this.
And then I move this one.
Yep. It's loose already. So you could just a little bit more until you feel that it's loose enough.
Oh, crap. What did I do wrong?
Too much. You unscrewed too
I
much.
unscrewed the wrong thing?
No, you unscrewed the correct one. But because you're holding too much,
Oh, here we go.
oh boy, okay.
Oh, that changed the angle on the
Yeah, we're working.
screen.
Yeah, hang
Okay.
on a minute. Yeah, we're working on it because this is new to me, so I'm still learning how to use it. Okay, so this has got to go down like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is this high enough now?
Jody, if she gets closer to the sewing machine, then it'll be right in the view of the other camera.
Okay, is that better? Wait a minute, why is the camera not?
Just because I moved it like this. See?
No, look, it went vertical and it shouldn't have.
That's what I was trying to tell you, is that it
It shouldn't
went
have
up
done
the other
that.
angle.
All right.
Might have to take it off the thing for a minute.
Let me do this.
Okay, now, all right, now it's horizontal. Now we got it back. Okay, when we were messing with it, or I was messing with it. Okay. Is that better, Joy T?
That's better.
Joyce says it's too far. Closer to the machine. So you want to see all of the machine? Or, wait, I see what, wait. I'm gonna spotlight this so y'all can walk me through this, okay? Because I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so how much more of the machine do you need to see? That does look better. So if this is as tall as it goes, right?
Yeah, I can
Or
remove
can
this.
this go up more?
No, that's all it is.
That's just high, okay. So maybe bend this down a little bit more and then realign this again, about like that. And then let me realign this part again like that. And see if that works. Is that better?
Now I just see the overview angle.
Yeah, I spotlighted it so y'all could see the angles, see what I needed to fix. See, we can't attach this to the side of the desk because there's not a ledge. So we're having to put it on the inside of my drawer. Yeah.
There, right there.
Is this better for y'all?
Slide it down. You deal with that one.
Okay. So only a little bit unscrew.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
You see it?
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Can we? Yeah, let's do it like this. Now,
You can move it all the time. It will, no, like that. You could see, keep it like that. No, like that. You see, every time I move.
so I can do like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. I'm not trying to make y'all sick. I'm trying to figure out how to get this.
You only have to do
Did you know that you can do a live unlisted?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, instead of going public or whatever, you just click
Right.
unlisted and then you can test all this stuff without actually being live.
Oh, so they want this down low here. Is that what they're saying?
Stop. Try to say stop.
Joyce says stop. Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's good right there.
Okay, so now I'll know what angle this whole thing needs to be in. Okay, got it.
We don't have to do it anymore.
So we're done with, everybody's happy with this? She says, try sewing something. Okay. Let me get something here that I can sew together. All right. Let's take.
Just use your only scraps.
Well, I don't have any scraps laying up here. I've already cleaned them or put them in the container. Okay, I need to change. No. You're right. I need scraps. Let me get a couple of these. Okay. And I'll also put this out here where y'all can see this too. And see how it, hang on, I'm not looking at the screen right this minute. So give me a hot minute. So you can see this while and then I'll go ahead and sew a piece of scrap. Not that. Uh-oh. Joyce says, I think that will work. And Joyce also says yes. So y'all like this better? Because that's what the purpose of this new apparatus is, to make things easier so y'all can see what I'm doing. Because people, the ones who have mentioned that they would like to see better, I didn't take that as something negative. I've been wanting to do something about making it better for y'all to see what I'm doing. We can see what you're sewing. Okay, looks good. Great. All right, that's what I needed to know. It got moved earlier because we were looking at the quilt seam when we were talking about whether to put another quilt seam down the side of the quilt. So everybody's good on that. Okay. Hey, Jean. And the lighting seems to look good too, seems like. Okay, there we go. Now you can see both ways. What do you think, Teresa?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
It adjusts as needed. Yeah, because I know we're going to have to fine tune it a little bit. Now, I don't have the ability yet for you, just so you know how you see some channels have like a zoom where you can zoom in and out. I don't have that ability yet, but this is better. Instead of having the tripod taking up half my sewing table and cramming everything up the way it was. And yeah, they're agreeing about the light being good. Okay, good, good. Perfect.
Your channels will be within the picture.
Yeah, the challenge is going to be moving it into the sewing room. You are so right. But this thing might attach to the cutting table, babe.
Mhm.
I just don't know about the other stuff like the lights and everything. I don't know what we're going to do about all that. That's going to be a problem. The fabric doesn't look yellowish. Okay, good. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. And this doesn't look off. We should look at some of these blocks in. Hang on a second. Let's lay out some of these blocks because sometimes the color with the camera doesn't look right. Let's try these dark blue ones. These are for the hourglass to the channel sew along, in case you're wondering what these are. For those that didn't know what they're for. I seen a new pattern that would be fun using charm packs, Teresa. And
Did you?
Yeah, and it looked really simple. And I'm thinking about when we finish this little channel so long, I'm thinking about getting that because it's a freebie pattern. And I'm thinking about test running that one too and see what people think about it. Or if they want to use layer cakes, they can do the same thing. You can really see the blocks better, huh? Instead of it being crammed up. Let me put a bigger block in here and see what happens. I'll have to move the keyboard though. Hang on a minute. Let's put a big block here and see what y'all think about how it looks to you now that we're using this angle. Hang on a minute. I'll get a big block. Because that's one of the challenges that we've all seen it. You couldn't see all of the block because it was a challenge. All right, let's get a big block. Yeah.
Do you have a little design board?
Yes. I have a smaller one. Yeah, let me find it. And I've been making, you know what I've been doing lately? I've been cutting cardboard down to make smaller design boards because I have the really big ones over here, but I want to make smaller ones. And I have leftover scraps batting, and I've been making me some little design boards. I've been gluing them on the gluing the batting onto the cardboard?
Because I was thinking what you could do is put your block on the design board, and then you could always just go straight up like that
Yeah,
to the camera if somebody needs to see it closer.
yeah, like this. I just put it on
Yeah,
a small design board. Yeah.
until you get the zooming in and out thing figured out. Yeah, I can see that block on your cutting mat and looks fine. Oh
I think
yeah, that's a pretty the one in the middle, that's really pretty. What is that? Is that a face?
it's a flower.
Oh, it's a flower. Geez, from a little ways away, it looked like a face.
Yeah, it's a flower. It's direct. All of this fabric's directional, which is see the chickens.
Yeah. Um, is the dark blue, is that dark blue? Is it black?
It's dark blue. Well, it looks like navy blue to me. And it's interesting with this camera because you know that block. Hang on, the blocks we were just looking at. This one with the that you mentioned you like the fabric on. This block right here. Everybody thinks this is black. It's not. It's a navy blue. But this camera can't differentiate with that, nor can the laptop, which is strange.
Hmm.
This is actually a dark navy blue.
Well, the light blue, look, is that a light blue?
This lighter color is actually a bluish gray color. You know how you have blue that has like it, you can see like a grayish tint to
Yeah.
it. That's
Let
how.
me see it in the zoom camera. Tor Tilt it towards me.
Oh, you want it on the other camera?
Right there, yeah. Oh yeah, it's a little bit lighter gray,
Yeah,
but not
it's like a
okay.
bluish gray.
It
But
doesn't look that much different on my cell phone than my laptop.
yeah,
And
but
that
my
looks
cell phone
like
shows it
dark
different.
blue to me, Katie,
Yeah,
not black.
yeah, it's definitely not black. But when I took a picture of this the other day and I got ready to put it up, I'm like, it looked black in the picture, and it's not. So I'm like, I don't get it. Sometimes this camera takes good pictures and sometimes it doesn't.
I would bring up the picture and then go into the settings of it
Hmm.
and make adjustments. That
Um,
might be what you need to
yeah,
do.
because I need to do something because it looked black. It's not. And in fact, there's another dark blue I got in here. Let me show you this. I'll show you. Okay, so this is purple with that same bluish gray color that we're talking about. This, can you tell what color this is just from a distance when you're looking at it? You can't, can
Well,
you? Now let me put it.
well, leave it there for a second because it hasn't come up on my screen yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. Now we're looking at which
What
one are
color
we
you
looking at?
now? What color you think that is?
The one with the little teeny half square triangles?
Yeah, this pinwheel.
It looks like a blue green.
It's actually teal. Here, let me put it.
Really?
Yeah, let me put it up to the other camera. Can you see it?
Huh. A darker teal.
Yeah, it's like the dark
Yeah.
teal. It's not turquoise
Hmm.
because this is turquoise. That's turquoise. This right here, this color right here, that's turquoise. But the camera on my phone sees it different. When you're looking at it here, you don't really, that looks like a light blue and it's actually turquoise.
Huh.
So it's very tricksy. And then with, now this is actually blue on the bear paw. This is not teal. This is not turquoise. It's blue blue. And then on this one here, This is not black. It looks black in the camera, doesn't it? The corners, it looks black in the camera. It's not. Let me hold it up. You'll see it's blue. It still looks black
Oh
in the
yeah.
top, but it's actually blue. Another navy, a different shade of navy.
Well, holding it up, it looks navy.
Yeah. And this right here is turquoise, really light colored turquoise. That the background color?
Oh, it looks like light blue to me.
Yeah, but it's not. It's very tricksy when you're looking at it through either camera. But
Hmm.
this one, you can, it looks like it's green and blue at the same time. That background?
Yeah. Yep. Some of the leaves are green and some of them are blue.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the camera sometimes has trouble with, maybe it's because it's petites, and maybe the camera has trouble because you see on this star that this purple right here. Now that the laptop sees it as a dark purple, the camera sees it as something even darker than that. But when you look at it with your eyeballs, it's violet. But the camera can't tell that. It's very strange.
Yeah. I think I would go in and adjust your color thing
Yeah.
on your phone.
And I don't know. Yeah, I need to do something. So now I haven't tried. I do have a Canon, and I thought about taking my Canon camera and take pictures and see what happens when I use my Canon camera, because the camera might see the true colors that my phone's not seeing, and I might end up having to take pictures of the blocks with the camera instead of my phone. I'm just lazy using my phone, but when I go to look at the pictures on Facebook or whatever, I'm like, it doesn't even look like the block I made. And
So on the block that's on there right now, it's
this
the one that has the yellow in it, the kind of the twisted star block.
this four
What?
patch one,
Go back.
you're talking about this one, right?
No,
Oh, you're talking
yellow.
about the other, you're talking about the other one with the yellow in it. Um, you're talking about this one?
No, it's laying on the table. There, that one.
Yeah, this one.
Uh, hold it up in the zoom camera. No, the other one.
Oh, put it up close to the other one. Okay, got you.
No, the other block with the red and the purple and the
Oh,
yellow
yeah,
and
yeah. Okay, got you. Sorry.
yeah, that one. Okay. Lay that down and let me see it in my camera here for a second. Because that one has really bold colors.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just give it, I'm still waiting for it to come up on the YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, wait. All right. All right, so in my laptop, it looks very red, very purple, yellow, and very blue, like sky blue with some dark navy blue.
Yeah, it's actually turquoise with the dark navy blue.
So I'm wondering if what you think is turquoise, I think is blue.
Well, that could be under, yeah, well, yeah, that could be it too. It could be what we, because some people, I've seen people call this teal, and that is not teal. Teal has more green in it, more green and less blue.
Yeah. All right.
Joy T says the colors look real to her. Yeah, so maybe it's just the way my brain sees it, and also the way I think the camera sees it. Because sometimes it frustrates me because it looks so vibrant here, but then when I take a picture of it with my phone, it doesn't show how vibrant it really is.
Are you, when you take a picture of it, is your flash on?
Yes, I've been using the flash.
Have you tried it without the flash?
No,
Try
me.
it without the flash and in the sunlight.
Okay, yeah, because I could take it outside and take pictures too. And that might give a truer color actually,
Yeah,
taking it outside.
I always take the flash off of my camera.
Okay. And thank you
Try
for all
that.
of you who said you like the blocks and think the blocks are pretty.
They are very pretty.
Thank you. And someone made a comment about my triangles. I have to say that now all of these blocks, just so you know, because most of you know I love using half square triangle paper. None of these were done with half square triangles. None of them. These have all been done the usual way. And out of all of them, I've struggled with this one right here the most. Getting because this is put together different. Because the you're doing flying. Basically, you have 4 flying geese, but within the flying geese, you have 2 different sizes. You have 2 small triangles, and then you have this tiny bit bigger triangle here. And all these have to be sewn in the right direction to create this churn dash here. And if you don't have everything lined up here or have the proper size triangle, or if you don't have it turned in the right direction, you can easily turn this into a hot mess. And it's not a hard block. It just challenges me because I'm angle challenged. So I ended up having to lay this whole block out on the design board the way it was supposed to be. And then I had to sew each side one at a time instead of chain piecing like I like to do. I couldn't chain piece these because I kept turning the triangles in the wrong direction. I don't know why. I don't understand why I do that. But doing it one at a time kept me from doing that. Because the block is not hard at all. To me, it isn't. It's just me and the way my brain works. Thank you, Kathy. And I'm not complaining. Please, none of y'all think I'm, I'm not putting myself down. I just know that if I haven't found a shortcut to get around what causes me to make mistakes with it, because I always repeat the same mistake over and over again. Joyce is leaving.
Yeah.
She said the same thing you said, Teresa. She said the turquoise looks like sky blue to her.
Yeah. Yeah, a sky bluish color.
Oh, Becca's going live, so everybody's gonna scoot over there. Sorry, I didn't. What time is it? Oh, Becca's going live. All right. Thank you, Teresa, for coming. And one more time, tell them about your channel so that they know where to go find you. And I'm going to share your link if I can get something off of here.
Okay.
Something covering something.
Teresa Louise, I quilt too. Normally go live on Sunday at 2 o'clock, but Pacific Standard Time. But I pop on now and then whenever nobody knows it. Just a surprise. So
Yeah, I saw you were live. You were live the other day on a day you don't usually go live, right?
yeah, I was the last time I was live was last Sunday.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, she's live. I need to hop in there and yeah.
I was making these friendship blocks.
Yeah, you were making the friendship stars. Yep, that's what you was working on.
So thanks for having me on, and it was great to see all of you in chat land.
Yep. And thank you for coming and hanging out with me. And Nikolai is not anywhere near finishing anything he's working on. So you want to say bye to everybody, baby?
Bye, everyone. Well,
All
I
right.
did finish these too.
Oh, did you? Well, show them what you finished real quick before we all tell out of here.
Well,
Because Becca's going live and everybody's going to want to go there.
well, that one is what you call the music store. There's some music and drums in it. There should be a clerk too, but it's not right there for the moment. And here we have a dentist and a photo shop on this one area. So far, it's just the way it is. This one and this one will be like this, next to each other.
So it's going to be next door to each other. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, thank you for coming to the live tonight. Remember to live, laugh, love, and dream. And what do you do with all that? You produce something beautiful. So thank you. See you tomorrow night on the next live. And y'all sashay over and see Becca. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, let's stop the live. Okay, you still there, Teresa, or did you already leave?
I'm still here.
Okay, all right.